The National Stadium in Karachi is the venue again, as indeed it is for the first 4 matches in the series, and then up to Lahore for the last 3. It's a warm evening again, around about 28 degrees, 75% humidity. Here's a change though. England have won the toss and they've decided to bat first today. Moeen Ali's had a look at the pitch and he thinks it's not quite as fresh as the first surface, which is a pretty decent batting pitch. Some cracks in it, and England are playing 3 spinners. Liam Dawson, comes in for his 9th T20 international. He's not played since Bridgetown in January for England in T20s. So England batting first. Let me give you their team first up. It is Hales and Salt, Milan, Duckett, Brooke, who played so well in that first match, just continuing the impression he's made already. Certainly this season, he's had a wonderful season. He looks an international player and a top-class international player in the making. Moeen Ali, Sam Curran, Willie Wood, the 3 left-armers, Liam Dawson and Rashid. So that is the England lineup. Pakistan have made a change as well. Mohammad Hasnain has come into the side, and Naseem Shah, the young quick, has been left out. So they are Baba and Rizwan, who played so well at the top yesterday, but then this couldn't go on and didn't get much support from the rest. Haider Ali, Shan Masood playing his 2nd T20, Iftikhar, Kushdil, Mohammad Nawaz, Usman Qadir, Haris Rauf, Mohammad Hasnain and Shanawaz Dahani. So that is the team news and the toss news and the weather news. The crowd is building up at the National Stadium in Karachi. Alongside me is Atif Nawaz. We've got James Taylor with us today as well, who's played 91 T20 career matches, 27 one-day internationals for England. Stephen Finn, 144 T20s and 90 white ball matches for England. Good afternoon to you, Stephen. And Atif will hear from James Taylor a little bit later. So England, a bit of a change today then, playing 3 spinners.
Yeah, I think good afternoon first and foremost, Simon and everyone. No, not really a surprise, I don't think, given the way that the wicket held for the spinners and proved difficult for the spinners, for people to hit the spinners in the game a couple of days ago. We're at the same venue, and if the match takes a similar course, then you would imagine that Liam Dawson's slow left arm will be very handy for England when it comes to this game.
So bowling second, batting first. I mean, teams like to chase, don't they, generally speaking, in T20s?
Yeah, but I think they're going to want to put themselves in a number of different situations over the next 7 games so that they feel prepared for the World Cup. I think that if they had it their own way every single game and they got to do what they wanted to, or their preference in chasing, I think that they would feel underprepared when it came to the World Cup. So this may be a tactic for that. We did see that the first 6 overs of the game the other day when Pakistan were batting on it, that was the best time for the openers to make or take advantage of a fresh pitch that skidded on, and then it slowly deteriorated as the evening went on. So that may be another factor as well.
Babar Azam in his toss interview was asked, and your captains are put on the spot, you've probably been there as well, what do you want to chase tonight, what do you want to limit them to? And often if you're clever, you say, we'll just see what happens, we're just trying to keep them under however, whatever. But Babar Azam, he nailed his colours to the mast, to use the cliche. 150 to 160, he said, would be a good total to limit them to on this surface. So what about those toss interviews? A bit of a hostage to fortune at the toss?
Slightly, because you never quite know what road the interviewer's going to go down. Some are quite generic in the way that they ask you just about your team changes, and you're already panicking about forgetting someone that you've put in the team for the day. And then every now and again someone asks you something sensible, like what would you like to keep England to? And your brain's going a million miles an hour. But given the evidence of the other day, it felt as though 150 or 160 was chaseable on that pitch as it got more worn as it went on. But yeah, I'd imagine if they did keep them to that score, they'd be happy. But England getting the opportunity to bat in those first 6 overs on a fresh wicket, I think they may have their work cut out next time.
Atif, what happened to Pakistan the other day then? Just one of those things? It can happen at T20, don't get enough runs and the opposition knock them off.
Well, it's unprecedented for a while for Pakistan. They lost their 3rd consecutive T20 only for the 3rd time in the history of the format, and they've actually not lost 4 in a row since 2010. So they're staring down a bit of their own sort of unwanted history or an unwanted milestone today as well. I think they're just this little bit shaken up after those two. I think there's a bit of a hangover from the Asia Cup. So, in the run-up to that, they were doing reasonably well. They lost the first game to India, but came back strongly to beat Afghanistan and India, and of course Hong Kong as well. But then they were completely outclassed by Sri Lanka twice, including in the final, which they were, widely expected to win as a better 11 essentially. But since then, it seems like there's been a little bit of a dip in confidence. Babar Azam wasn't finding a lot of form, so Pakistan brought in Haider Ali. A lot of hopes for Haider Ali. We saw him a couple of years ago, obviously, playing in England, making his debut in T20 international cricket, getting a 50 in his debut as well at Old Trafford. But since then, he's not really been able to fulfill that potential. For Pakistan right now, they just can't really find any rhythm with their side. There's either an issue of the openers going too slow and putting too much pressure on the middle order, or when that doesn't happen, then the openers actually provide a good platform, as they did in the first T20, the middle order unable to capitalise. So there's a bit of insecurity about their batting lineup, I would say.
Is this essentially the Pakistan team that we're going to see in the T20 World Cup?
More or less. They've given themselves a few outs with some of the names in their probables list. So they've also keep stressing that October 15th deadline by which teams are allowed to change again. So the fact that they've stressed it so many times makes it seem like they're still not altogether sure. They've been caught out a little bit here. England are a bit further on in their cycle as a selection because they are able to tinker and take chances and promote players and just play scenario cricket, like as Finney was just saying. They want to put themselves in a position where they're in the less comfortable position of setting a total in a T20 internationals or come the World Cup. They're prepared for that scenario. Pakistan are not anywhere near that settled, and they've their selection has been slightly all over the place, haven't given enough of a run to players, or they've stayed with players for possibly a little bit too long. But either way, what's happened is now they find themselves in a position where they're very unsure in that middle order. Shan Masood, who we've seen a lot of here playing for Derbyshire in the T20 Blast, and Balochistan in the Pakistan's national T20 Cup. He's come in at number 4 for Pakistan, which historically is a sort of power hitter position.
And some people be surprised about that as well, because he's, we've seen him as an opener, haven't we?
Yeah.
But he has played at 4 a bit this season in the domestic T20 in Pakistan.
He has. So in England, obviously, for Derbyshire, was opening in the T20 Blast. But when he went to play for Balochistan, he consciously made that choice to play at number 4 to almost make a case for himself.
Because Babar and Rizwan are not going to be displaced at the top.
Well, this is the thing. I mean, when you're the world number 1 and 2 in the ICC rankings, I suppose you get to call your shots a little bit, and plus one of you is a captain. I think there's Shadab Khan, who will definitely come into the picture for the World Cup, and obviously Shaheen Shah Afridi as well, injury pending, should start for Pakistan when the World Cup happens. But I don't think they're too worried about the bowling side of things right now. It's that top and middle order that they're struggling to get their combinations right.
Finney, do you think it's a straight shootout between Salt and Hales? I mean, it's a strange one, isn't it? I mean, they're two players who obviously, they're at the top of the order for England, but there's one place, isn't there? Butler's going to come back and open in the T20 World Cup. He might well come back. He's out there. He's not playing because he's got this injury at the moment. They're hoping that he will play some part in this tournament. Someone's going to have to bat alongside him. Who's it going to be?
Oh, big questions today, Simon.
I like to get them in early.
Yeah, get them in early, put me under the pump.
Okay, it's a hard one to answer, but that is basic it, isn't it? It's one or the other, you'd think.
Yeah, and you'd imagine it's a very tricky one, isn't it? Because Phil Salt is the man in possession, arguably, with the way that the squads have been selected this summer so far. But Alex Hales has an exemplary record in Australia in the Big Bash. He came in and scored a very mature 50 the other day to get his team over the line on what was or what could have been a tricky chase. I think it is a straight shootout a little bit, that you can't see too much else of the order changing from what we've seen when they get all of their players back and available in that build up to the World Cup. But certainly that opener's position is up for grabs. I don't think it's a definite decision, a straightforward decision just yet, but if one of those two were to put their hand up in a manner that put them streets ahead of the other through this series, then you would imagine that they will open in the T20 World Cup.
Yeah. I was watching Phil Salt's body language when he was out the other evening, because he absolutely nailed that shot, didn't he? It was a decent catch on the boundary. He hit it pretty well. I mean, it seems a strange thing to say, actually. He hit it well, but was out. And you could see that sense of frustration because it felt like a sort of bit of an opportunity missed.
Yeah, but I think if you dwell too much on those, then you can start beating yourself up and unnecessarily put pressure on yourself. T20 cricket is like that. It's a game of fortune. Sometimes you can nail the ball and it goes straight to a fielder, or on another day it can be 5 yards over his head. So as long as he retains that commitment to what he's doing, he'll be able to come away from this with a clear conscience to say that he gave it everything. And yeah, hopefully for him next time he hits it either 5 yards either side or 5 yards over his head.
Well, the Pakistan team are in their huddle on the outfield. They are in the field, England winning the toss and deciding to bat first. Our two umpires are on the way, Hassan Raza and Rashid Riaz. And Atif, just a final thought from you. We'll be commentating a bit later, but what do Pakistan need to do a bit better today compared to the other day?
Well, there's going to be a bit of a suspense really, because it's their batting that there's question marks about. They bowled reasonably well at England considering the circumstances. It was always going to be hard to defend what was a below par total. Even in that pre-match interview where Barber, the toss interview where he said 150, 160, feels very, very ambitious because it's really a good surface. It feels like a 170 wicket. So the bowling isn't really the concern for Pakistan. They've got lots of options. It's their batters who really need to come to the party.
OK, more from Atif and Stephen Finn a little later. James Taylor is settling in alongside me, the former, well, they called you sort of chief scout or head scout, which seemed like a strange title to me, but you know, basically England selector. Yes, exactly, scout when you were younger. But anyway, you're not doing that role anymore. You've media commitments and in the future some coaching commitments as well. What are your feelings about today?
Yeah, I'm really excited. I mean, two of my favourite players to watch actually. Alex Hales, super experience, his amazing long levers and the serious force and velocity he gets behind the ball. Same with Phil Salt, super confident guy, amazing guy to watch, scores all around the ground and bullies the ball up front. Very much like in the ilk of Jason Roy. So for me, he'd be a like-for-like replacement early on in the innings for Jason Roy. So two very exciting guys in great touch as well. And it's a shootout, like you were saying with Finney just a moment ago. It's exciting for these two guys. What an opportunity they've both got to stake claim to get in that World Cup starting 11.
Yeah, Hales took his chance the other day with that half century. He reached his half century, was out to the next ball, but he sort of felt as if he'd done his job and sort of proved something actually. I mean, it must have been quite tough, and you're out for 3 years, you come back, you get a run straight away. That must feel good.
Yeah, and there's not many guys in the world, in world cricket, in T20 cricket, that more experienced than Alex Hales, but also more consistent. He's very consistent. For the game that he plays, such a high, expansive brand of cricket, he's very consistent. And that's the thing, that's what Phil Salt will be getting better and better in time. He'll become more consistent because he plays such an expansive, aggressive brand of cricket. He is going to get out cheaply at times, but the more experience he gets, the more consistent he gets, you imagine.
Well, Phil Salt is playing his 6th T20 for England this evening, 26 years of age. He'll keep wicket as well. We're not expecting any dew tonight because of there's quite a strong breeze blowing across the ground, and we're nearly ready to start, just waiting for the final countdown. England are batting first with that one change, with Liam Dawson coming into the side in place of Richard Gleeson. I think England looked at the pitch and thought, OK, it's a 3-spinner pitch, but there's also a feeling I think that Gleeson had a bit of a niggle as well, so not taking any risks there. It's a big squad that England got, 20 players. What would be interesting is actually as the competition, as the tournament, if you like, series progresses, whether England will make any changes and look to give everybody a go. It's going to be Mohamed Hasnain to bowl the first ball of the match to Phil Salt. There's a slip in, fine leg is up inside the circle, deep third is in, and here is Hasnain, right arm over the wicket, and it goes to short fine leg as well. Salt will be disappointed there. It was full, he clips it away, thickish inside edge and straight to short fine leg when he would have hoped to pick up 4.
Yeah, he'll be disappointed that he didn't put that to the boundary, but also be delighted to get off the mark first ball. It was certainly on the pads, and unfortunately just clipped it straight to fine leg, but Alex Hales came through for a single. So
Salt is off the mark, 1 for no wicket. It seems almost impossible to get a single, and he was so close in, the ball went so quickly, but it was parried there at short fine, and Hales seized on it. Mohamed Hasnain, 22 years of age, pacey, right arm over the wicket, nice smooth run, bowls an away swinger there to Hales, has a nibble at it and misses it. And it goes through to wicketkeeper Rizwan. That was a good delivery from Mohamed Hasnain. That's not, you say, the ball before Salt was just the sort of ball you want. That's not the sort of ball you want first up.
It's not. No feet from Alex Hales, just hands out away from his body, but what a lovely ball from Mohamed Hasnain. Just delightful shape away on a length as well. No feet from Hales, and just a waft outside off stump. But for his sake, luckily he didn't get any bat on it.
1 for no wicket in this first over, and Hasnain goes in to bowl to Hales, who does get off the mark, guiding it away off the back foot out towards deep backward point, and they're limited to a single. It was too close to the fielder down there, so a single to Hales, and England move up to 2 for no wicket. Pakistan making that one change to their side as well, with Hasnain coming in for Naseem Shah, who looked, I mean, he's got pace about him and he does things with the ball, but he can be a bit hittable as well. I suppose all pace bowlers can be in T20 cricket. The ball comes onto the bat nicely on decent pitches, especially in the subcontinent. Here is Hasnain, bowls to Salt, and Salt gets the ball. It's tight to off stump, sets off for a single as he pushes it into the offside. It is not there. It goes out far too close to cover, so there is no run.
Yeah, it's a lovely start from Hasnain. That shape, but it's not just the shape, it's the line and length that he's bowled. He's been around about 4/5 stump to both these batsmen so far, with a little bit of shape away. The ball's certainly swinging. This white Kookaburra ball is not going to swing for long, so they need to make the most of it, and Hasnain started brilliantly.
First over of the England innings on Tuesday went for 14. England got off to a real flyer. Here's Hasnain moving in to bowl to the right-handed Salt outside the off stump. Flashing blade, goes very quickly down towards deep third. Yes, they're very quickly indeed, but it's stopped in the deep, and they come through for a single. Usman Qadir down there with the fielding away to his right-hand side. 3 for no wicket, 3 singles in the first over. It was one of those shots, actually, a bit of width there that Salt on another day might have expected to get 4. He hit it pretty well, and it went very quickly just to the right of the fielder on the deep third boundary.
Yeah, it did. It was just a fraction too much width on this occasion, so we'll be disappointed he missed out on it, but it looks a belting surface now, and with this new hard ball it's going to come on, so England need to make the most of this power play.
Last ball of the over, Hasnain bowls middle stump to Hales, and Hales turns it away up towards mid-on, and it's picked up by Kushdil, and there is no run. So not a bad first over from Mohamed Hasnain back in the Pakistan side. Pacey, nice smooth run, nice action, and limiting England in that first over to 3 singles. Salt has 2 and Hales has 1. The concrete bowl of the National Stadium in Karachi, decent crowd and noise in this evening. It's asking quite a lot. I know Pakistan have been starved of cricket to expect people to come along match after match after match. Hopefully all the games will be a bit different. What you don't want is sort of formulaic games
Certainly
between these two sides.
Of them, isn't there?
Yeah.
7.
Yeah, I thought we'd sort of gone past those sort of huge series of 7 matches, but there's a bit of a make-up going on. England not going to Pakistan last year, so they've come for 7 matches, and of course there is a focus, the T20 World Cup, which starts in October, and all eyes will be on that fairly soon, and we'll bring you extensive coverage, commentary on that competition when it gets underway, the T20 World Cup in Australia. They're good competitions, actually, those T20 World Cups, because every game seems to matter, and there's not much room for manoeuvre or error. Right, here is Nawaz, the left armer, and Salt goes up and over, out towards the long off boundary over the fielder, and it's gone away for 6. Well, he took it on, and Haris Rauf leapt in the air on the long off boundary and could not get there, over his head, and Salt gets 6. An audacious shot first up with long off back.
He's certainly a confident player. What a shot that is. Gives himself a fraction of room outside leg stump just to free his arms and lofts the ball over long off, and there's a man out there but he just clears him. Excellent strike.
Nawaz bowls, and Salt crashes that away off middle stump there, giving himself some room, smacks it straight to cover, but picks out the man, so there is no run. 9 for no wicket. We're in the second over of England's innings, winning the toss, batting first on 5 Sports Extra. Every ball of every match in this 7-match series on 5 Sports Extra. And here is Nawaz into bowl to Salt, and Salt guides that through the vacant mid-off area out towards Haris Rauf at long off, number 97 on the back of his blue shirt. Pakistan not in green in this series, unless I'm colourblind. Anyway, I think it's blue, isn't it? It's sort of bluish colour. Yeah,
I think it is, with hints of green.
Hints of green in it. Yeah, some sort of stripes of lime green. And the numbers have been fully restored on the back of the shirts today. I'll mention that in just a second. 10 for no wicket. Hales is on strikes. Faced 3 balls so far in the match. Nawaz slow left arm bowls, and Hales goes back, forces up towards mid-on. And there is no run that time, picked up by Iftikhar. Yeah, the other day Pakistan had a third of their numbers submerged, so you couldn't see them all, and that was sort of like a tribute or acknowledgement of the floods. As Hales goes down the ground, high in the air, out towards long on, over the mid-on fielder. Iftikhar runs back, knocks it back inside the rope. Hales didn't get all of that, and there's a fumble there from Iftikhar, double fumble, and Hales comes back for a slightly fortuitous 2, rather cloth that. You can see what he's trying to do, hit it over mid-on, didn't quite get all of it. Anyway, got away with it. Bit of turn there, just a bit of turn.
Yeah, a little bit of turn, but he used the angle, the left arm just angling into leg stump, and Alex Hales managed to use his long levers just to get enough of it over that mid-on man that's inside the ring.
Last ball the over at 12 for no wicket. Hales comes down the pitch, hits it hard on the bounce to Iftikhar, who parries it into a gap, and so Hales is able to go through for a single. 13 for no wicket. Well, a bit more dramatic that over than the first one, which is fairly steady. England playing some shots and getting away with those shots, but 13 for no wicket after 2. It's one of those starts where neither one side nor the other is in the ascendancy so far.
Yeah, I think England will be happy with that over. It's always hard for, I think, as a spinner to come on second over. The batsmen have had an opportunity to find their feet, get used to the pace of the surface and the bounce of the surface in that first over, and then it's an opportunity to free your arms, and Alex Hales and Salt certainly did that in that over. It's a better over for England, but they're going to look to maximise this first 6 overs, this power play. Why is the ball so hard and it's coming on with the quicker bowlers? They need to make the most of it before the pace comes off the ball, and you'd imagine this surface is quite dry and it's going to turn throughout the game.
Hales on strike for Hasnain's first ball of his second over. Hales gives himself some room. Hasnain bowls very full and quite wide, too wide for Hales to get some bat on it. He was stretching for it, but he was outside the leg stump, could not get anything on it, and the ball went through to Mohammad Rizwan, Pakistan's wicket keeper, and he's almost like talisman, really. I know they've got Barber, so they've got that sort of double talisman, if you like, at the top of the order. He's such a charismatic cricketer. Yeah. Mohammad Rizwan, fine cricketer, dangerous. Hasnain bowls, guided away by Hales, but straight to backward point. And there is no run. So 2 dot balls to start the third over. Hasnain's made a good start to the match. He's only gone for 3 so far in 8 balls.
Yeah, he's bowled really nicely. He's still swinging those first couple of balls. Still a little bit of shape away from the right-handed Alex Hales. Alex Hales will be looking to give himself a little bit of room, especially with that swing from Hasnain, with the ball coming on nicely. Give himself a little bit of room, because Hasnain's bowled lovely to Alex Hales so far. Good line and length.
Hasnain sets off again and bowls very full, and Hales reaches for it, goes through to the keeper. I think he might have got some bat on that, under-edged it behind him, and Barber threw the ball towards the stumps. Hales got back in his ground, and it's another dot ball. Just seeing a replay, very full, almost by the wide line. Yeah, Hales got a toe ender on it into the ground, and it bounced out. Actually, I think someone in the crowd thought that was a catch to the keeper, depending on what angle you're watching from, but it very clearly went into the ground. Hasnain played in the Asia Cup final, went round the park a bit, 41 of his 4 overs, possibly the reason he was left out the other evening. Naseem Shah preferred, but he's back and he's bowling well. Goes in now and bowls to Hales, and Hales then manages to scuff this away down towards the fine leg boundary for 4. It's coming into him, and he got a thickish edge on it, got a big swing of the bat, and with fine leg up inside the circle, he's able to take that away to the boundary. Just about managed to get some back. He was about to thud into his pad, and he got a thickish inside edge on it. 4 runs to the total, 17 for no wicket.
It was an ugly looking shot and very uncomfortable for Alex Hales, but he gets enough on it, and on that occasion Hasnain's line and length wasn't quite up to scratch. He'd been so good so far in his previous 10 deliveries, but not on that occasion.
17 for no wicket. Hales on 8. Hasnain bowls to Hales, gives himself some room, thickish edge over short third, and that's gone for 6. It's flown away, over the deep third boundary for 6. It was a bit of a mow from Hales. He was looking to hit that sort of over extra cover, but all the fun of the fair, thickish outside edge, and the extra pace of Hasnain, that went scooting over the boundary, that deep third for 6. So 23 for no wicket.
Yeah, that's the beauty about batting in this first 6 and the power play. They brought up the third man fielder, and Alex Hales has given that everything, throwing the kitchen sink at it, those long levers, and it also, it shows the pace that he's bowling at. That's over 90 miles an hour, thick outside edge, flowing comfortably for 6.
Hasnain sets off again. Last ball of the over, bowls to Hales, low full toss, turned away straight to short fine. They're off for a single, throw at the stumps at the striker's end. Mrs. Salt was very quick there, and Hales applauds it as well. I mean, there shouldn't have been a single there really, but I think even if the throw had hit the stumps, he would have been home. So that's good running. 24 for no wicket after 3. That's 6 that went over deep third. It's only 64 metres, so there are some short boundaries on this ground, but with the flashing blade of Hales and the extra pace of Hasnain, it flew over the rope. So a better over off Hasnain ultimately, and England move up to 24 for no wicket after 3 overs.
Yeah, what was a pretty sedate first over from England. They've really upped the pace. Alex Hales was 2 off 8, now 15 off 12. Good start from Alex Hales, and Salt finding their feet and also getting the pace of the surface. It looks a really good surface. Like I said, as the ball gets a little bit softer and the pitch gets a little bit more used, you'd imagine it's going to turn as the inning goes on. So they need to make the most of this first 6 overs, and these guys, whilst they're there, certainly will be doing that.
Now Dahani is going to bowl his first over, the 4th over of the match. Another right arm pace bowler, moves in purposefully, not quite as quick as Hasnain, played away by Hales into the offside, just to the right of backward point, and that allows them the angle for the single. Hales moves to 16, and England up to 25 for no wicket. Start of the 4th over. I mentioned at the start of the commentary, you feel these two are competing for one place in England's T20 World Cup team. You've got the experience of Hales, but he hasn't played that much, of course, as well documented recently. And then you've got Salt, who's sort of in possession. Salt waits. Dahani goes in to bowl to him. Salt forces that short of mid-off, runs purposely with the shot and gets a single. There's nothing Barber could do about that. It's good running again from Phil Salt. He's a nice aggressive runner. 26 for no wicket.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be an intriguing shootout, isn't it? 2 outstandingly talented batsmen, very powerful, plenty of options, exactly what England want at the top of the order to replace Jason Roy. Hopefully they'll have a number of opportunities for this shootout. Will Jacks is obviously the other option at the top of the order.
Here's a short of a length delivery from Dahani, and Hales tries to swing it away, and he's struck on the body, and the ball goes away into the offside, and there's no run. Yeah, Jacks is well, he might get his chance later in the series, and you feel as he's going to have he's limited opportunities to press his case. His time will come, you think?
Yeah, totally, and I think that's fair enough. These guys have, for so long now, have been consistent, scored runs, and in the manner that England want them to score their runs. But Will Jacks, the thing that he's got up his sleeve, he's an outstanding mover and fielder, but also he can bowl you 3-4 overs if you want of his off spin. He can bat in the middle order, he can bat at the top, so he's a very, very versatile cricketer.
He's played a bit in Australia as well. Dahani bowls to Hales, who has a mow at that one. He gets another thick edge. This time it goes down finer towards the deep third boundary, and that's gone away for 4 more. Well, it's not exactly coming out of the middle of Alex Hales' bat, but he's ticking along. He's got a big smile on his face behind his grill there. That was a horrible, ugly stroke. And it went sort of diametrically opposite where he was trying to hit it. He was trying to hit it over long on, and it went sort of fine deep third.
A for effort, I would give him. Again, another thick outside edge, but this time a little bit finer and a little bit flatter, so just a couple of bounces into the boundary boards, but it's the result that Alex Hales wanted, just not quite where he was aiming.
20 to him from 15. He's double the strike, more than double the strike so far. 30 for no wicket in the 4th over. Dahani goes in, bowls to Hales, full ball on middle stump, driven back, deflected off the boot of Dahani up towards mid-on. They're off for a single and they get it. Salt, we mentioned, is quick. It's a hurdle over Rizwan, who's on the ground trying to take the throw from mid-on. Hales moves to 21, and England to 31 for no wicket coming to the end of the 4th over. That was a far more orthodox shot. We're saying that Hales hasn't hit it out the middle of the bat. That one he did, and look what he got for it. Only a single. What's the point of that?
But this is what these two, they're not renowned for their, well, certainly Alex Hales isn't renowned for his quick singles, but because they look to hit it so hard, these two, and they're so powerful, all the men are on the ring, so there are opportunities for singles out there.
31 for no wicket. Last ball of the 4th over, and here is Dahani into bowl to Salt, who drives towards mid-off, and another fumble from Pakistan. Babar Azam not exactly setting the standard in the field. I think they would have got a single in any case. They go slightly to his right, but he fumbled it to his left, and so just took the pressure off the batters in the end. Salt takes the bowling, last ball of the over, 11 to him from 8. Hales is 21 off 16, so England have made a solid start here. Not spectacular, but solid enough. 32 for no wicket after 4 overs.
Yeah, very solid start from both these. Obviously Alex Hales getting the majority of the strike. Both players have had enough of the strike though to find their feet, get the pace and the timing and bounce of this surface, and they'll be looking to capitalise these final 2 overs, big 2 overs of this last power play.
Do you have a goal in mind at this stage, you think, or do you just play it as it comes? Be aggressive, obviously.
Yeah, they'll be looking to maximise every opportunity now for these remaining 12 balls in this power play. They'll be wanting at least 10 and over for these last 2.
So 55, something like that, if possible.
I mean, at the start of the power play, these guys would be looking for 10 and over on a good surface. Now they've got the opportunity against Haris Rauf, who's got the pace, but he's also going to show us his variations, you'd imagine.
Rauf bowls short, pulled away, not perfectly timed by Salt. It's bobbling out towards the deep mid-wicket boundary, and it's gone for 4. 2 fielders after it. Outfield quite quick. Perhaps just lacking the athleticism needed there to stop the ball as well. And it's gone for 4. So 36 for no wicket. Start of the 5th over.
Yeah, that's a really good shot from Salt. Just picking up the length really quickly. Hit him high up on the bat because of his power. He just managed to generate enough pace on that ball to get it over the rope. Like you said, it wasn't the most athletic bit of fielding from the Pakistan fielder.
It was Iftikhar who was running out towards the deep mid-wicket boundary. It looks like he was running on sand, really, and then not the most athletic dive to try and drag it back. Salt on 15. Rauf's first ball has gone for 4. Goes in now and bowls, and Salt hits that firmly into the onside. There's a man back at deep mid-wicket. It is Iftikhar who bends down and sends in the return on the bounce to Rizwan, who was looking actually to throw it to the bowler just in case the non-striker was out of his ground, and the bowler was bending down doing up his shoelace. I'm not sure that totally impressed the wicketkeeper.
But I like this field. So they had both men out, so they only allowed 2 men out in the first 6. Both men out to Phil Salt there were deep square leg and deep mid wicket. So Haris Rauf, you'd imagine he's going to bowl it into the surface. If not, he'll bowl it straight and also roll his fingers across it and bowl cutters.
37 for no wicket. Rauf bowls to Hales, and there's a short ball. He tries to pull it away and misses it, and actually the keeper there just coming forward to take that. So just perhaps an indication he tried to take some pace off that delivery. 37 for no wicket. The sponsors of the series, Bank in Pakistan, are giving is it $1,000 for every? Is it $1,000 for every 6 hit? Well, we've only had 1 so far. The outside edge of Hales' bat. And we mentioned the third of the number submerged, a third of the country submerged. That's the reason for that. Rauf has another off-pace delivery, and that very nearly bowls Hales there. He goes for a pull shot, just passes off stump and through to Rizwan.
Don't know how that is missed. Another coat of paint, and that would have been clattering into the stump. Oh, just gone over them, to be fair.
Just over off
I
stump.
think Haris Rauf rolled his fingers across it, took the pace off the ball, and it gripped a fraction, but it also probably kept a fraction low as well, just evading the stumps. So
37 for no wicket. 2 balls left in this 5th over. Haris Rauf's gone for 5 so far. He's going to mix it up, frustrate these 2 batters. Rauf bowls, and Hales gives himself some room and hits this high down towards deep backward point, and that bobbles away for 4. Well, he made all the running there, Alex Hales. It was short, and he lifted it away over the inner ring out towards the boundary, and Hales moves to 25. It wasn't perfectly struck, but give him some credit there because he did what he was trying to do.
Yeah, really nice, nifty bit of footwork there from Alex Hales. Again, backing away to the leg side and giving himself a fraction of room just to free those arms, and he got the ball he wanted. It was short and it was straight, and Harris Ralph didn't adjust his line to where Alex Hales was going. Yes, he didn't get all of it, but he got enough of it to take it over the rope.
9 off the over. We're talking about England targeting 10s in the last 2 overs of this power play. Here is Ralph, bowls a low full toss, which is driven by Hales, not timed at all, out towards straight mid-on, over the stumps. I don't know whether the bowler got a hand on that or not as he in his follow-through. Perhaps he didn't, it just was so poorly timed, plinking off the lower part of the bat. Anyway, it's the end of the over, 10 off that over, and England are 42 for no wicket after 5 overs. Salt has 16, Hales has 26. More from you, James Taylor, and then for the next 5 overs it will be Atif Nawaz.
Yeah, England are in a really good position here. They've certainly set the platform. 42 for no loss, with both Alex Hales and Phil Salt, both very dominant batsmen, very destructive batsmen, finding their feet, getting used to this surface. Just touching on that previous shot from Alex Hales where he gave himself a little bit of room. That's become a real strength of his and an asset to his game. He's got the ability now to give himself a fraction more room, whereas previously in his career he dominated through the leg side. Now he can hit both sides of the wicket. An absolute nightmare to bowl at.
He's been in terrific form on his comeback to the England side. Alex Hales, 50 in the first T20 international, of course, against Pakistan. Looking good here, 26 off 20. In comes Dhani, and he's bowled him! Big mo across the line from Alex Hales. Shahnawaz Dhani hits a length, and the top of middle stump as well. A huge celebration, a huge cheer at the National Stadium in Karachi. England lose their first wicket, 42 for 1 after 5.1 overs.
That is a huge mo across the line from Alex Hales, but that's an even bigger celebration from Dhani, running off towards the crowd. Outstanding celebration, but it's an excellent ball. Rolled his fingers across it. Alex Hales looking to go across the line, but just misjudges the length, and it just clips the top, middle and leg stump, and it's timely wicket for Pakistan, and Dhani himself loves it.
He is. It was a big celebration from Shahnawaz Dhani. He's not shy of big celebrations. There was one where he bowled an absolute half-tracker in the previous game. It was a spectacular catch on the boundary, and he gave that a big celebration as well.
Hey,
so.
To be fair, the amount of time you get hit and you get unlucky, you've got to make the most of these wickets, and that is an exceptional celebration. Like it.
Yeah.
Big wicket, they needed that.
Energetic young man from Larkana in Pakistan. It's an area in Pakistan that hasn't produced many international cricketers. He's rose to stardom as Shahnawaz Dhani from his debut in the PSL a couple of seasons ago. Sort of meteoric rise, really.
Yeah, I was going to say, let alone fast bowlers. They've got a real good crop of fast bowlers now, Pakistan, that are coming through, bowling it consistently in the 140s, which is 90 mile an hour the way I see things. And the exciting crop of fast bowlers, and good to watch.
They are indeed. David Malan also good to watch, of course. Just a year and a half or so, 2 years now, I think, removed from being world number 1 in this format of the game. A terrific campaign in the 100 as well this season in England. And he's going to be facing up to Shahnawaz Dhani as the crowd in Karachi chants his name. Well, he's at the top of his run now. Left-handed Malan on strike. In comes Dhani. He's bowled another one! Leg stump, first ball. Dhani is on fire. And the crowd have erupted at the National Stadium, Karachi. England from 42 for no loss in the span of 2 deliveries are now 42 for 2. England losing their way in the power play after 5.2 overs.
Deja vu with that celebration. I've seen that before. Again, for another wicket. Dhani on this occasion a little bit straighter, leg stump almost uprooted, and David Malan getting too far across. He's done this on a couple of occasions recently in his career, too far across, just exposing that leg stump. And Again, the timely wicket. That's 2 now. Back-to-back balls. Dahani on a celebration, on a hat-trick ball. I'm looking forward to this celebration. I don't know whether we'll keep him in the stadium if he gets a hat-trick.
Pakistan,
2 for 2.
Pakistani bowlers do have a track record of getting themselves hat-tricks. A few immediately come to mind. Of course, the great Wasim Akram has done it a few times. Waqar Younis has done it. Mohammad Sami has done it. Naseem Shah has done it. Is Shahnawaz Dahani going to do it today in Karachi? Well, Ben Duckett will be hoping not. He's the new batter coming out to the middle. One of the few bright spots of the Welsh fire this season in the 100. But he's been given a prolonged stay of execution in this England side. With Will Jack sitting on the bench again today.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Ben Duckett. He's got more and more consistent throughout his career. A real talent and prodigy from a young age. Strokes it all around the wicket, but he's been very consistent in all formats of the game this year, or probably over the last couple of years, and done the hard yards in the middle overs for Nottinghamshire over recent times.
Well, here we go. Hat-trick ball. In comes Dahani, and it's just been played away into the onside. It's another dot ball. The crowd applauds. Dahani just adjusts his hair a little bit as he goes back to the top of his mark. It's not a bad hat-trick ball there, is it?
No, you just got to give yourself a chance. As Stephen Finn knows better than I do. Go at the stumps full and straight, and he did on that occasion. But Ben Duckett was too good on this occasion.
Yeah. The crowd are well and truly involved now. There was silence for a lot of that first T20 international by England. A slip in place as well. Dahani in now. The back of a length ball's just been punched into the leg side by Duckett. They take the first one quickly. They're going to get back for 2. And that's what they'll settle for. So Ben Duckett off the mark from his second delivery. England 44 for 2 after 5.4 overs.
Yeah, that's what Ben Duckett does so well. He always creates an angle for himself. He gets one side or the other of the ball and rotates the strike really well. That's what he's done so well for Nottinghamshire, and he does the hard yards in those middle overs. He's got a real opportunity here. Obviously coming in the power play, he's got an opportunity to face plenty of balls and stake a claim to further his career with the England badge on.
It's what you want, isn't it? You want to play as many balls as you can. You're in there in the 6th over.
And with the World Cup coming, you never know if there's injuries. You want to be that man on the team sheet.
Dahani in again, good length this time, played to mid-off, who's in quickly that time is Babar Azam. And there is no run. It's been a good over this from Dahani. 2 wickets from the first 2 balls, conceding just the 2 runs.
Yeah, on these surfaces, that notoriously quite skiddy and will keep a little bit low for you, so you want to go wicket to wicket and bowl as straight as you can. So the cliche goes, if they miss, you hit, and that's exactly what he did with David Milan first ball.
Well, for every wicket that falls, they're donating 50,000 rupees towards flood relief, which is rather nice. This is short, and it's been shoveled uppishly towards the square leg boundary. It's going to get there as well. Duckett's first boundary of his innings, and England finished the power play with a 4, 48 for 2 after 6 overs. And it looks like a really good surface as well. I mean, James, we saw Babar Azam at the toss say we'd like to keep England to 150, 160. It feels very, very ambitious looking at the surface so far.
Yeah, I think that comment came about because, one, he had to make a bold statement first up without a ball being bowled, but I think it looks a little bit dry.
Yeah,
very similar to the previous surface, a little bit dry. It does look a good surface, but it's going to be good with the new ball, and as the surface gets on, it's going to and gets more tired, it's going to keep a little bit low and take a little bit of spin, you imagine. But I think we're probably 50-50 at the moment, 48 for 2. In England were well ahead of the game until those first 2 wickets, but Pakistan have come back nicely at the back end of the power play.
Well, they're going to try and keep the pressure on here, Pakistan. They're introducing Usman Qadir into the bowling attack, the leg spinner, son of the great Abdul Qadir, passed away a couple of years ago. Here's Usman now into Phil Salt. Starts with a short ball. Salt has hammered that through the covers. There is protection out in the deep. He fumbles. It's Heather Ali out there, and allows the England batters to come through for 2 runs. England's 50 comes up as well. 50 for 2 off 6.1 overs. Moving at a very good pace here for England, as we just take another look at the dismissal of first Alex Hales and then David Milan. Here's Usman Qadir in again. Another short ball. Hammered to the right of extra cover this time. Down to fielder at long on. And that'll be another single to the score. 51 for 2. James Taylor's going to take a little break. And England international Stephen Finn back alongside me. Finny, you must have, fast bowler, you must have enjoyed those 2 wickets a little bit.
Yeah, I enjoyed them, and as James Taylor said, I enjoyed the celebrations as well. They were
exuberant.
Amazing. Yeah, I was trying to think of the right word. Imran Tahir-esque, probably a better description of it. Yeah,
He gave it a good old sprint towards one of the boundaries as well.
he did. If I cleaned Alex Hales up like that as well, I would too, I think.
Usman Qadir into Ben Duckett. It's a much better length from him, a bit fuller. Appreciated by Mohammad Rizwan behind the stumps. Found this in the previous game from Usman Qadir. He does bowl the odd magic delivery in between, but there are bad balls where batters can cash in. There's another fuller delivery. He's just been worked away towards the square leg area. Another single to the score. 53 for 2. It's tough, isn't it, to be accurate as a leg spinner as well, because your margin for error is very, very low.
It is, especially with small boundaries such as these. If you're too full, guys will just pop you over your head. And if you're too short, they're quick to rock onto the back foot. I do think on a surface such as this, you're better off driving it into the pitch.
Lots of flight from Qadir that time. It dips as well nicely. Salt just digs it out to Shan Masood that point.
Yeah, you're playing with fire there a little bit by throwing it up. I think we'll see Adil Rashid do this, and he did it well the other night actually. Is bowl the ball hard into the wicket. A lot of googlies to crowd the batters for room and give them no freedom to swing their arms. Usman
Qadir in again. This is short. It's been pulled by Salt. Didn't quite get his swivel. It's his swivel timing right. It's a weird thing to say, but he did. Plays it out to long on for a single. It's the end of Usman Qadir's first over, just the 5 from it. England 53 for 2 after 7 overs. Taking stock of their innings again after the fall of those 2 wickets in consecutive balls. And you talk about the surface, Finny, as well. Of course, they don't use hybrid pitches out in Pakistan. No plastic fibres woven into the surface. So Heather Knight on commentary the other day said it looks a little bit... The word she used was tacky. I think she meant crumbly, but tacky. It just made me think of like the way certain cricketers we know like to dress.
Yeah, there's a lot of those in cricket, we know that. No, I wouldn't say they're tacky surfaces. They'd be rock solid on top, but they do crumble. Where those cracks do run up and down the wicket. It's almost like crazy paving, but tiny surface crazy paving, as opposed to the stuff that we see in Australia and South Africa when those cracks widen up. So you don't anticipate that the ball will misbehave too much off them, but it will just give it that little bit of grip, which will make it tricky if the spinners do drive the ball into the surface, playing cross-bat shots.
It's going to be spin from both ends now as Mohammad Nawaz replaces Shahnawaz Dahani, the left-arm spinner. Starts with a fuller ball. Salt rocks back in his crease and carves that out to deep extra cover for a single. So strong when he sits back and just sort of leans on it.
He is, but as a bowler I don't mind that, because if the ball holds, it brings in the outside edge, and if it skids on, he's leaving his stumps exposed to the ball just skipping on through the gate. So I would rather my spinners in this situation to be driving that ball into the pitch, to be trying to get it to misbehave and skid on or hold. I think if it's thrown up there, it becomes a little bit too easy to hit with the small boundaries that we can see.
Indeed. 54 for 2. The crowd just settling a little bit. Here comes Nawaz now into Duckett and into his pads, and he just sweeps that out towards deep backward square leg for a single. It feels like a good matchup for Ben Duckett, Mohammad Nawaz, especially sort of bowling straight into his arc so he can swing across the line towards mid-wicket.
Yeah, and he would look to bring out the reverse sweep at some stage, you would think. Nawaz trying to keep that line tight to his leg stump there.
Nawaz into Salt now, who again makes a bit of room outside off, but Nawaz just fired that in. I'd like to see how quick that was. It felt really quick. And full, and just dug out back to the bowler for no run. Back to the top of his mark quickly is Mohammad Nawaz, the all-rounder. In bright, shiny green trainers. And he comes. There's the reverse sweep from Phil Salt. He places it nicely wide of the fielder at point. Bit of work to do in the deep for Shahnawaz Dahani, but he does well. It's appreciated by the crowd as well at the NSK. 2 more to the score for Phil Salt. 57 for 2 the score. It's beautiful execution that from Phil Salt. He didn't really get very low there, Finney.
No, he didn't. The ball was shorter than maybe he was anticipating. and just able to sort of flap it out to a deep point as opposed to a full-blown elegant sweep. You see Ben Duckett go down to reverse sweep. It's a full-blown sweep. That was more of a paddle from Phil Salt.
Nawaz into Salt. Salt's gone for that big swing across the line. Doesn't time it. Goes straight to square leg. They do get through for a single. It is a very short boundary towards that leg side, so you can see that's what the right-handed Phil Salt is targeting. He wants to go up and over. Got a little bit on top of it and then fell over. Lost his balance at the crease as he was completing the run. He has a little chuckle as he gets to the non-striker's end. Keeping things a bit tighter in this over is Mohammad Nawaz after an expensive first in the power play. England 58 for 2. Here's the last ball of the 8th over. Nawaz in. There's that ramp shot from Duckett. He's placed it perfectly. I mean, that is an outstanding shot. The perfect contact, runs away to fine leg. 4 more runs to the score. England 62 for 2 after 8 overs.
Excellent game awareness from Ben Duckett there. He knew that the bowler was going to look to fire this in and just get out of his over for a single down the ground, but Ben Duckett, equal to the task, just spots that and helps it on its way over his right shoulder, and it races away from the fielder down to the boundary behind fine leg and behind the wicket keeper. So intelligent batting and a boundary at the end of that over, again something that can just help this scoreboard keep moving forward.
England have moved at a very good rate so far. It does look a great surface. Beautiful lush outfields as well in Karachi. It's a gorgeous stadium, the National Stadium in Karachi. Big crowd has turned up to watch this game as well. Pakistan still playing in that away strip. England with an opportunity to test out some bench strength ahead of the World Cup. And Usman Qadir is going to continue now. Salt just having a little look around. Wants to know exactly where the field's at. And here's Qadir. Here flapping in the wind. And he comes. Big swing. Big appeal from Rizwan. It's a good leg break. Very flat, but good amount of turn as it goes through to the keeper. Now they're discussing whether or not to review it, whether there was an outside edge on that. And Barber is asking Rizwan. He's kind of smiling as if to say, do we? I don't think we do. He's turned his back on them. 4 seconds to go. Yeah, Barber is unmoved. They don't take the review. Yeah, it felt like just a really good leg break there, Finney.
Yeah, it was. Driven into the surface, nice pace on it. Phil Salt goes for the big sweep. And Homer is one a bit excited.
Back of a length that time. It was a googly from Usman Qadir, but Salt in a good position to drive down the ground to long off for a single. Now, you played with Rizwan. We talked about this. Did you feel like he was appealing a lot more than maybe the average keeper?
No, not necessarily. He's just very excitable when there was an appeal. He did it very vociferously, I think, is a fair way to do it. But maybe not necessarily more than other wicket keepers, but he was a good appealer, certainly.
Qadir in again, another big swing, this time from Duckett. No connection though, as that ball zips through the surface, through to the keeper for no run.
Ball bounced as well. Excellent take by Rizwan. He stops and stands for a second, almost amazed that he caught that himself, but outstanding piece of keeping from Rizwan.
Qadir quickly in again. Fuller on a leg stump line this time, swept hard by Duckett. Out towards the short boundary, there's a misfield from Shan Masood. He does well to recover. The batters do get through for 2 though. Duckett very quickly on to 14 off 10, very busy at the crease. England 65 for 2, 2 balls to come in the 9th.
Sweep and the reverse sweep are shots that you'll see Ben Duckett use regularly. He's not a tall man. Very low centre of gravity, I think, is how you describe it.
Qadir in again, another reverse sweep. He shaped up for that very quickly. Qadir sort of saw him coming a little bit, pulled his length back, and Duckett able to get that out to deep cover just behind square for a single. It's hard to adjust, even if you see the batter shaping up to play the reverse sweep before you let go of the ball. It's almost too late to change your mind about what you're going to bowl, isn't it?
Well, fortunately, not that many people have reverse swept me in my career. But you sort of have a natural instinct, in an instinctive go-to, and your body just does it. It's just an automatic reaction, and Usman's will be to drive that ball into the surface.
Usman Qadir into Salt again, and that ball keeps a little bit low. Salt looking to carve that through the covers, misses it, and it just trickles through to the keeper for no runs. So Pakistan just pulling England back a little bit here after those first 2 wickets fell in the last over of the power play. 66 for 2 England after 9 overs. Salt on 25 off 21, Duckett 15 off 11. They're looking for a slightly earlier than planned drinks break at the moment. They were supposed to go after 10 overs, but it is very, very hot and humid in Karachi. You can see the players were perspiring before they'd even started the game.
Yeah, similar course to the other day, isn't it? Really, the first T20, those first 6 overs against Seam looked really nice to bat. The ball came on. England got slightly fortunate and slightly lucky to have top edges going for 6 and outside edges going for 4 to beat the fielders. But then as soon as the fielder's gone out and the spin has come on through driving it into the surface and bowling a tight line, it's meant that run rate has slowed down significantly since the power play. So Nawaz has 2 overs left, Qadir has 2 overs left. It'd be interesting to see how they go about using those guys through the rest of the innings, because clearly spin is the best way to stifle the scoring rate at the moment.
Spin to continue. Ben Duckett on strike. Mohammad Nawaz in. Duckett sweeps hard, connects well, and well enough for 4 to the square leg boundary. Perfect execution and awareness of the field there. Terrific shot from Ben Duckett. We talked about this being a good matchup for him, the slow left arm bowler. So far he's winning the battle.
He is. I think the slow left arm bowler is obviously wary of the fact that Ben Duckett reverse sweeps a lot. And here I just think he's been that little bit too full and too quick. It means that Ben Duckett has the pace and the length to be able to sweep towards the leg side. We saw that fine sweep the last ball of his previous over, and then a hard sweep square. I think if it's slower and slightly shorter, it's going to be very hard for Duckett to be able to use that pace when he's sweeping, and he'll have to force it a lot more.
Nawaz into Duckett, who's found a way to ramp a ball that was so wide outside off stump. It's remarkable. It's trickling away towards the boundary. Hasnan and Usman Qadir with a bit of relay fielding down a very, very fine leg. But the batters do run through for 2. Duckett is all finesse today in Karachi. England 72 for 2 after 9.2 overs.
Yeah, again, nice awareness from Duckett. Knows that Nawaz is bowling quick. He can use that pace if he needs to. The wicket is still good enough for him to be able to trust the bounce and trust it once it bounces that he can lay enough bat on it to get it to race away towards the boundary.
I'm going to clip that audio of you saying Nawaz is bowling quick and make it my ringtone. In comes Nawaz. Now this time the ball is swept again. Doesn't really get a hold of it. Really top edgy from Duckett. Drops short of the fine leg fielder up inside the circle. Just be the single. Yeah, there's all sorts of donations happening in Pakistan. Ongoing flood issue in the country. Lots of organizations doing their bit for flood relief. $1,000 for every 6, 50,000 rupees for every wicket, 250 rupees to the pound. This is short and pulled down the ground to long on for a single, so I'll let Simon Mann do the maths for when he comes in. 50,000 rupees donated for every wicket, and it's about 250 rupees to the pound at the moment, so I'll let Simon work that out. He's working it out in his head, I can promise you.
I expected Simon to work it out in his head, but he's let me down.
Yeah, okay. It works out to £200 per wicket. Not bad at all. Not bad at all. Duckett on strike. Nawaz with a shorter, quicker delivery. It's been pulled away nicely. That's going to go to the... Oh, no! Terrific stop in the deep from Shahnawaz Dhani, and a good throw as well. They do get back for 2 relatively easily, but some nifty work out by the square leg boundary by this fast bowler. Reminiscent of the way Stephen Finn throws himself around on the boundary.
I think you're being slightly kind to me there, Atif. That was a nice piece of fielding, tidy, but that shot from Ben Duckett is a much harder shot for him to play than a full-blown sweep from a full-of-length delivery. So I would prefer the bowler to keep persisting with that length and make Duckett play across the line on the back foot.
Yeah. He's got into a nice little rhythm here, Ben Duckett. Very firm strategy at the crease, making an impression. Nawaz now into Duckett, reverse swept aerially and in the gap. 1 bounce 4 to the backward point boundary, which he effectively turned into the square leg boundary. 4 runs to finish the 10th over. Duckett looking very, very good here. He moves on to 28. England 80 for 2 after 10 overs.
now set up quite nicely, I think, Stephen Finn, for a big total here in Karachi. Tell us what you expect, and then Simon Mann's going to rejoin.
I expect the leg spin of Kadir to still be an important aspect of these next 10 overs. He has 2 to bowl. Nawaz there for me just a bit quick and a bit full. I mean, the Duckett was able to sweep and reverse sweep and manipulate the field as he saw fit at the time. But an important over for England takes them on to 80 for 2 from 10 overs, which I think, given the 2 wickets that they lost in 2 balls towards the back end of the power play and the way that the spin has started to grip and be difficult to score when it's bowled on a good length, I think that they'll be happy with where they're at, and they'll be targeting a score of around 170, you'd have to say, with the power that they have left to come in.
Well, after 10 overs the other day, guess where England were after half their innings?
80 for 2.
80 for 2. Bang on, exactly. They've done exactly the same thing today as they did on Tuesday. 80 for 2. Pakistan were 87 for 1 after their first 10 overs on Tuesday, but they really fell away. 38 for 4 in the last 5. Just couldn't get going. Excellent from Luke Wood, who's a left armer. It's amazing, isn't it, how many left armers suddenly are available to England in T20 cricket.
Yeah, they are. I think the inception of domestic leagues around the world, I think, has meant that left-arm seamers, there's enough data now to suggest that left-arm seamers are a very good angle for taking wickets in T20 cricket. Why that is, I can't tell you, but they are. And lucky enough, someone like Luke Wood has the pace to go with it. And I think the thing about the left-armers that England have at the moment, they're all very different, or slightly different in their own way. Sam Curran is slower, shorter, uses the slower balls. Reece Topley is taller, he hits the track. David Willey looks to swing the ball, and Luke Wood has the pace that the others maybe don't. So yeah, all left armers, but all slightly different to each other, making us right armers the rarity.
My theory is that the reason that they are effective is because, generally speaking, most people grow up facing right armers, so there's something that's a point of difference. You're not quite as practiced against left armers as you are against right armers.
Yeah, it's a fair shout. Or people set the bowling machine up to be right arm over the entire time when you're practicing as a youngster. As you get into the professional game, you do become more conditioned to splitting your practice equally to right arm over and left arm over. Especially if you know you're coming up against them in a series, but a lot of your conditioning when you're a kid is done to right arm over bowling.
That's a really interesting point, actually. In all the practice I ever did against the bowling machine, it was never set up to be a left armer. It was always, you're right, all set up to be that angle, quite close to the, well, as you look at it as a right-hand batsman, to the right of the stumps at the non-striker's end.
Occasionally.
All the time, Stephen, I would say. More than you give yourself credit for.
Well, I don't know.
80 for 2 after 10 overs. Play is going to resume after the drinks break, and Usman Kadir is going to bowl, and he bowls a leg break to Salt, who nudges the ball into the onside and gets a single. Salt is only 27 not out. Duckett's 28 not out, but you do have to look at the amount of strike that Salt has had. So you think of 61 balls, he's only faced 23 of the 61 balls so far, so others have had more of the strike than Salt. Although Duckett has played really well. I've been impressed with him. He's reverse sweeping everything just about. He's 28 not out. Carter goes in and bowls him outside the off stump, chopped away out towards deep cover, who runs around and picks it up just inside the rope, and they come back for 2 runs. That was a conventional shot there from Duckett, not going for the reverse sweep, cutting the ball away. 83 for 2 in the 11th over.
The thing about being able to reverse sweep as Ben Duckett does, they've set the field specifically for that, so the deep cover is actually a deep backward point.
Yeah. Carter goes in and bowls, and it's another sweep shot, orthodox sweep shot, well in front of square. It's gone for 4. He's hit that really well again. This is a fine cameo from Ben Duckett. He's 34 not out from 18 balls. Not, I would say, rapturously received by the home supporters in Karachi. Mind you, England crowds, generally speaking, don't applaud as much these days as they used to when the opposition batters hit a 4 or 6.
Scoring a boundary at Chelmsford, that one, complete and utter silence.
Well, not many people did that over the last few days. A remarkable championship match. 87 for 2. Duckett drags it into the onside this time, out towards wide long on. That's 4 as well. He's really nailing them. Emphatic punch of the gloves with Salt. And the partnership is one shy of 50, and Duckett's 38 from 19 balls.
And this really is a masterclass in sweep, in the sweep shot, a number of different forms. This one, a hard, drilled sweep shot, miles in front of square, almost a wide long on. Ben Duckett here, because of his ability to play those sweeps and reverse sweeps, is able to manipulate the field, and the Pakistan bowlers here have been way too full and have allowed him to play the sweep shots. If they drag their length back and force him to play off the back foot, it means that he's not going to be able to get down and sweep and reverse sweep the ball so freely. So I feel the Pakistan bowlers are missing a trick here, and what should be the threat and the danger now is really a hindrance to the Pakistan team when it comes to trying to stem the flow of runs from Ben Duckett's bat.
Well, he's playing his third T20 international today, Ben Duckett, and he's got his highest score. He's 38 not out, he's hit 6 fours, it's 91 for 2 in the 11th, and Kadir goes in and bowls him. He's down the pitch this time, rather scuffing that into the onside. He gets a single towards long on, takes him to 39. It might have gone under the radar as well, but when Johnny Bairstow was injured at the Oval, Ben Duckett was called into the squad. So, you know, he's not just close in T20, he's also close in the Test match arena as well. In the Australia Tour 2017, he was on the tour. I'm just trying to remember whether he was part of the original party or whether the Lions were around. His card of bowling full. There's a miscue from Salt, but he gets it over the inner ring out towards deep extra cover, and he gets a single, and the score goes to 93 for 2 at the end of 11 overs.
I think he was on the Lions tour.
He was on the Lions tour.
That was adjacent for those first couple of Test
matches. That's right, and there was an incident, wasn't there, that was well reported, where he was supposed to have poured a glass of beer over Jimmy Anderson's head. Why waste a pint of beer like that? I don't know. Anyway,
there's some dodgy stuff down in Australia that's worth throwing away.
That's probably right. Anyway, so he did that, and his career after subsequently seemed to take a bit of a dip for a while, but he's clearly, you know, he's fought himself back into contention in both white ball cricket and red ball cricket.
He has, yeah. I think the weight of runs, and I think the manner in which he scores them, I think has caught people's eye, especially for a tour of the subcontinent as they're on now. If you were picking horses for courses, Ben Duckett would have to be in your squad, you'd say, for his ability to manipulate spin through those middle overs. Will those skills be as transferable in a place such as Australia for the T20 World Cup? We don't know, but all you can do is play the conditions that are in front of you, and right now he's doing that exceptionally well.
I'll tell you what there is. Here is Rauf bowling, and that's lifted away by Salt out towards deep mid wicket. Should come back for 2 there. He's found the gap between 2 fielders in the deep. 2 more runs to the total, 95 for 2 in the 12th over. Of course, we've seen Ben Stokes retire from one-day international cricket, and the next World Cup, the 50-over World Cup, is in the subcontinent. So if you show those skills on those pitches, then you take your opportunity when it comes along, then you advance your case. He's played 4 Test matches, 3 one-day internationals and 2 T20s. His third today. Salt's on strike on 30, misses a slower ball that's outside the off stump from Rauf. Tried to hoik it away into the leg side, went past the off stump and through to Rizwan, because Ben Duckett did play Tests in 2016. He played against Bangladesh, and that Test match, the second Test in that series, where England lost all 10 wickets in a session.
I was the 10th.
I think Duckett got a half century, didn't he? There was 100 stand for the first wicket, then it was the building just collapsed after that.
I tried to review when we had no reviews left. It was the 10th wicket. Yeah, it was a bit embarrassing.
I take that back about saying that you actually should give yourself more credit. You shouldn't. Rauf bowls to Salt. Salt's bowled. He goes for a hoik into the leg side, misses it, and Rauf hits middle and leg, and Salt's on his way for 30 from 27 balls, and England are 95 for 3 midway through the 12th over, and the crowd are alive again.
Yeah, well bowled. Haris Rauf here, changing his pace. Sign the other night that the England bowlers had worked out the conditions was in the middle overs when they started bowling cutters and then using their pace on deliveries as a surprise. The ball before was an off cutter to Phil Salt, and he was through the shot way too early, and that may have still been in his mind when shaping up for the next delivery. And Haris Rauf bowls a seam up, pace on delivery, and it's through Phil Salt before he can swing his bat through. He walks off frustrated for 30 from 27. Pakistan have bowled well here with these 4 deliveries of seam that we've had so far. England still in a good position with just over 8 overs to go at 95 for 3.
Now all three England batters have been bowled tonight. Hales bowled by Dahani for 26, Salt bowled by Rao for 30, and Milan bowled around his pads by Dahani, first ball, 95 for 3. And just talking about bowling straight, Pakistan are yet to deliver a wide in this innings, which is quite unusual, isn't it, for a T20 match? We're in the 12th over, there's not been a wide bowled yet, and there's not actually been an extra conceded either.
Yeah, that's good, and part of the discipline of short format cricket bowling is not giving the team or the other team extra deliveries. So yeah, keeping the stumps in play is important, I feel, on tracks such as this where the surface may be slightly too paced, especially as the evening goes on, and I'm sure we'll see England's bowlers learn from the mistakes of the Pakistan bowlers so far in this innings. But yes, to have the discipline of bowling no wides or no balls and no extras is a good effort thus far.
Yeah, very good from Pakistan on that front. Harry Brook is in at number 5. This very talented youngster turns his first ball into the onside straight to mid-wicket, picked up by Shan Masood, and there's no run. Very impressive on Tuesday. Harry Brook 42 not out from 25 balls, just made his Test match debut at the Oval. Rather skittish innings, it has to be said. He got off the mark with sort of quite a nice square drive, but actually he was one-handed.
Yeah,
as well,
amazing,
amazing shot really. But he showed the confidence to come out and play a few shots, and there aren't many young batters who are caught at fine leg in their debut Test innings. Forward goes Brook there, playing that towards mid-off, a smile on his face. Goes up to mid-off and there's no run. 95 for 3 in the 12th over, buying into England's aggressive Test match game plan. Brook caught down there at fine leg, trying to take one off his hip at the Oval. He's out in Pakistan. He's got the opportunity to impress. Again, he's one of those white ball cricket for the future, really. His opportunity with a few players missing, with the T20 World Cup imminent. Around about, a month away, isn't it? Was it today, the 22nd? We're underway, aren't we, on the 22nd? Here's Rauf, bowls to Brook. Brook dabs it away, down towards deep third. Very much a Joe Root shot, that. And I think there is a bit of influence there. Root to Brook. To James Taylor off air that, Brook, I think, reveres Root. Well, you would do, wouldn't you, if you were a bit junior to him and growing up. I mean, he's a class player and so many good habits. 96 for 3 after 12 overs. Brook is off the mark. He's 1. Duckett's on 39.
Yeah, he looks a real talent, doesn't he? Harry Brook impressed the other night in the first T20 International. There are not many players or young players out there at the moment that play across all 3 formats and excel as he has done. A great start to his international career. In this series, in the T20 format, the Test match is only played 1 Test match, but getting going. Is it 1 Test match he played or 2?
Yeah, he's played 1.
Just 1.
Yeah, 1 Test innings. Yeah, the one the over made 12, 3 fours, 2 fours rather. And this is his 6th T20 international, because it went a bit under the radar. These things can do. As he did play in that series in the West Indies earlier this year, back in January time. That's when he made his debut. Right, here is Mohamed Nawaz, slow left arm to bowl, and Brooks down the pitch, slipping that with plenty of bottom hand up towards long on for a single. And England go to 97 for 3. Start of the 13th over. Barbara Azam talking at the start, limiting England to 150, 160. England from here hoping for 170 if possible. It looks in that sort of area at the moment. Things can change very rapidly. They could nosedive and make 145 or something like that, but they could also press on and get 170 plus, especially if Duckett can continue. Played the spinners very well. Has a look over his right shoulder there, out towards deep back with square leg. Nawaz bowling left arm, so left arm round the wicket across the left-hander, and Duckett plays a dab shot. That's beautifully played, definitely played for 4 towards the fine leg boundary, inside the short fine leg fielder, taking on the full. Is showing that touch is just as important in T20 as power.
It is, especially in these conditions that can be tricky to play fluent stroke play on, when we've seen people trying to hit the ball hard and try and whack the ball out the ground. People haven't managed it, but deft touches and the placement either side of the fielders is what's been key here for Ben Duckett.
He's on to 43, 101 for 3. Oh, he's bowled this time. He went right outside the off stump, tried to dab it away into the leg side, sweep it into the leg side, missed it, and he lost one of his stumps there. The slow left armer has knocked out one of his poles. Normally the preserver, the fast bowler, but the slow left armer has done it. Well, that was a disappointing end for Ben Duckett, going a long way across. So he's actually bowled round his pads off stump. That's how far across he got. And Mohammad Nawaz takes his wicket, and there is the 4th England player to be bowled in this innings. 101 for 4, and Duckett has gone for 43.
Yeah, excellent innings there from Ben Duckett, but as we've mentioned, the bowler, the second he's driven it into the surface from back of a length, it's really hard for Ben Duckett to get down and sweep that because of the grip that there is in the middle of the track. So the first time he's done that, lo and behold, he bowls him. The England bowlers will be watching that very beady-eyed for the way that they will want and need to bowl in the second half of the game, but Ben Duckett manipulated the field beautifully whilst he was out there. And now he's made way for Moeen Ali, the skipper in this game, 35 years old and a real power hitter, someone who England will want to propel them towards that target that gets beyond what Babar Azam set his team at the beginning of the day.
It actually feels as though it's going to be about that, doesn't it? It's all, in a strange way, we might well be watching the first game in reverse.
Feels that way,
yeah. Pakistan on Tuesday in the same stadium made 158 for 7. Excellent start, Rizwan making 68 and Babar 31. He put on 85 for the first wicket. And then as time went on, they began to subside as Moeen's first ball is outside the off stump across him, and he gets a thick inside edge onto his pads. Then the ball rolls away into the offside, and Rizwan comes behind the stumps to pick up, and there is no run. Seeing that Duckett's missile again, knocking out his off stump. Duckett really frustrated to miss that. A long way across he was though. Nawaz bowls to Moeen. He's off the mark, going back and swatting that down the ground out towards long on. It's fielded by Iftikhar. So Brook on 2, Moeen on 1. So you've got 2 new batters at the crease for England. A time when you want to press on. It's not time for sort of the full charge yet, but we're coming to the end of the 13th over. And Nawaz, last ball of his spell, 1 for 39, and he's going to finish on 1 for 40 because Brook comes forward and pushes that up towards long on for a single, and he takes the bowling at the end of the over again. So he's 3 not out from 5 balls. Moeen is 1 from 2. England are 103 for 4 with 7 overs left, so if they were able to get 10 and 0 from here, that would be just about 170. Hale's out for 26, Salt for 30, Milan first ball, and Duckett for 43, all bowled. 1 for Dahani, 2 for Dahani I should say, 1 for Haris Rauf and 1 for Mohammad Nawaz, the slow left armer, who's finished on 4 overs, 1 for 40. Let's see who has got what to come. So the leg spinner Usman Khadir has got 1 over left, and the other quick bowlers, or the quick bowlers, Hasnain, Dahani and Rauf all have 2 overs left, and their figures are actually quite similar so far. Hasnain 2 overs for 14, Dahani 2 for 14, and Rauf 1 for 13. And here is Dahani. He's picked up 2 wickets, great celebrations as well. Goes in now and bowls to Brook, who goes leg side, and the bowler follows him, and it goes down the leg side. And unless that flicked the hip of Brook, that looked like a wide to me. Are they appealing for something there? They're appealing for a catch behind. Dahani saying, I think we should review this.
Very enthusiastic.
And they are going to review it. So there was feeling there was just something there. It was down the leg side, and James Taylor's back alongside. I mean, it didn't look particularly convincing for a catch, but we never know. Let's see.
Especially so for caught behind. How Rizwan is so enthusiastic.
I have already checked. It's a fair delivery. Can we start with front on spin again, please?
This is our TV umpire, who is Asif Yaqub. We're just waiting to get the pictures now. Let's have a look, seeing a front on view
nice
of this.
Slow. Yeah, the ball is close to the gloves. Can we confirm with Ultra Edge, please?
I don't think he's anywhere near it. I think it's hit almost his back pocket.
Yeah, it's hit his hip, I'm sure.
Just keep rolling, keep rolling, keep rolling, keep rolling, keep rolling. Yeah, I can see there's a gap between bat and ball. Roll it up to the thigh, please. Yes, I can see. The ball brushed the thigh pad. So go back to on-field umpire. SN, stay with your original decision. You're on screen, please signal.
So Hassan Raza made that decision. It's actually a good call as well, because it only just flicked the hip. Sometimes umpires get the old arms out to signal the wide there. That was much ado about a dot ball. Dahani moves in to bowl to Brook. Brook comes to meet him and then swipes it into the onside, out towards deep mid-wicket. Fielder running round. I'm not sure. Has he stopped that? Yes, he has. He's kept it just inside the rope. Again, not the most athletic piece of fielding, but underline that it did not go for 4. At least I don't think it did. I don't know whether the fielder there had contact with the rope as he knocked it back inside. Anyway, Brook has got 2.
And he's shown
just going to check it actually. Has he been in contact with the rope? He was eventually in contact with the rope. Hyder Ali, but not when he touched the ball, so I think that's okay.
I think he's okay, but there Brook showing his intent early on in his innings. And he got 5 runs to his name, advancing down the wicket, thick inside edge, under edge, pull shot almost, whip to the leg side. Great intent early on. Brook.
Yeah, they've had a look at it twice now, and I think Hyder Ali's fine. Well, they might take some skin off his elbow. 105 for 4 in the 14th over, 4 balls left in the over. Brook on 5, Dahani 2 for 16, goes in, bowls, short ball, pulled away by Brook, out towards deep back with square leg, it's gone for 6. That's $1,000 to flood relief. Haven't been many of those in this England innings. Brook has just struck one, probably the cleanest blow we've seen in the match so far. Sent that out towards the deep back with square leg boundary and well over it in the end. 76 metres.
Yeah, that's a brilliant shot from Brook. Just giving himself a fraction of room. He's edged away towards the leg side and the bowler's followed him, and it's a good bouncer up towards Brook's grill, but Brook's far too good on this occasion and got plenty of it. He's taken it 76 metres and he's off and running.
Third 6 of the innings. 111 for 4. Brook 211. Dahani bowls, Brook comes to meet him, hits this firmly up towards mid-off to Babar Azam. Got there too quickly for them to get through for a single. Actually, in the end, Moeen Ali, the non-striker's end, had to dash back. He was looking for a single. They went on the bounce to Babar Azam.
This is exactly why Harry Brook's such a talent. A guy that plays all around the wicket, but generally plays pretty orthodox shots. And that was a good bouncer as well. Straight with good pace. Brook was really in control of that and had enough power as well to get over the rope.
There's a fine young player. Dahani bowls to him. It's dabbed away by Brook down towards deep third. That's his 12th run. He's one of those players actually you feel, he only played that test match right at the end of the summer because of the injury to Johnny Bairstow. You feel he was sort of ready to play international cricket this summer in the test side, but there was no vacancy. In the end, it only came because of that freak injury to Johnny Bairstow right at the end of the season.
Yeah, he's been in great form, hasn't he, for a while now, but he's got maturity beyond his years. He's got the game and the talent and also the technique and the skill level to be able to adapt from domestic cricket, and there is a big difference between domestic cricket right now and international cricket. I believe he's a good enough player at the moment right now to play 3 formats for England. Certainly I think we'll see him in the next 18 months to be a constant in this England side in all 3 formats.
Moeen on strike. Dahani ran the wicket bowls wide and it's fumbled by Rizwan as well. And they get through for the extra run, so 2 wides there. So having said that Pakistan haven't bowled a wide, they have now. 114 for 4 coming to the end of the 14th over. Brook is 23 years of age. He's 24 and next February. Harry Cherrington Brook. I don't think there are many with that second name in the world. I don't know where that comes from, Cherrington. It must be some sort of family name, isn't it? Here's Dahani, bowls to Brook outside the off-stump, tries to flash it away, misses it. Extra pace there from Dahani, taking it past the outside edge. And through to Mohammad Rizwan, end of the over, 114 for 4. 6 overs left of England's innings, with Brook and Moeen Ali looking to drag them up to some sort of competitive total on this pitch that we think is not quite as good as the other evening, and just offers a bit for the spinners.
No, I think that's a good example of the inconsistent bounce. So we've seen a couple keep a fraction low on this surface, but also that's just shot through with good pace and good bounce. Yes, it had good pace behind it, but we haven't seen that so far in this inning. Certainly the bounce that's just beaten Brook outside the off stump. So I thought
Here's Usman Carter bowling a new over, and the wides are coming thick and fast now, because there's another one. It's very wide as well. And Moeen let it go, taken by Rizwan away to his left-hand side, the wicketkeeper. 115 for 4. Usman goes in again and bowls. That's forced away nicely by Moeen. It's a beautifully struck shot, that. Languid stroke right out of the middle of the bat. He literally hardly hit it, but you just could see the timing off the bat. First boundary to Moeen, he goes to 5. England to 119 for 4 in this 15th over.
I would describe that as lazy, effortless timing from Moeen. Like you say, languid, long, levered swing. Just easy timing from Moeen. A little bit short and a little bit wide, and just plays for extra cover. Plenty of power.
Something for the leg spinner to think about. Goes in, right arm over the wicket to bowl to Moeen. That spins back. Moeen tries to cut it, goes past the inside edge. It's taken by Rizwan. Big leg break from Usman Carter.
Again, just like the other night, we've seen a little bit of spin now. This occasion, beating him on the inside edge.
Using that to bowl to Moeen. Very full, driven by Moeen. Down the ground, out towards long on. Collects a single. So 120 for 4. Pakistan the other evening, after 15 overs, were 120 for 3. So it's a very similar sort of game so far, similar sort of innings. But with this feeling that there's a bit more spin there tonight. Here is Carter bowling, and Brook comes down the pitch and rather drags that on the drive in the end, with plenty of bottom hand up towards a long on. So it's only a single. Kushdil with the fielding. Kushdil Shah, left-hander. 121 for 4. Brook goes to 13. Back with Moeen. England with that left-hand, right-hand combination at the moment. Carter bowls, and Moeen goes big into the leg side. I think he's got all of that. He has. He hits it onto the track that's in front of the seats at wide long on. It's bouncing on the concrete out there. Someone grabs it and celebrates. And 3 seconds of fame while they're on TV. And that has gone a long way. 94 metres.
94 metres, right in the slot from Moeen Ali. He's only just come in, he's only faced a few balls. Given a little bit of flight from Usman Qadir, and it's right in the arc from Moeen Ali. Great shot.
4th 6 of the innings. 127 for 4. Last ball of the 15th over coming up. And then Atif will take you through to the close of this England innings. Qadir goes in now and bowls to Moeen, and Moeen goes again. Has he got enough of this? I think he has. Yes, he does. He's hit the grass this time in front of the cage that's round the ground. Didn't quite time that as perfectly as the ball before, but there was a bit of muscle in that shot, and a free swing of the bat as well. So consecutive 6s from Moeen Ali, and England on their way now, making some decent progress with a couple of 6s. So we've got 5 overs left of this England innings, and they have moved up to 133 for 4. More from you, James Taylor, and then it will be Atif until the end of the innings.
Yeah, that's exactly what Moeen Ali wanted to see at this stage of his innings. He's now faced 7 deliveries, he's on 18, and what he wants to see, his eyes would have lit up when he saw a spinner coming on. One of the best strikers of spin bowling in the world, Moeen Ali. 18 off 7 balls, exactly what England needed. That injection of pace after those couple of quick wickets and the loss of Ben Duckett. Moeen Ali's come in and got off to an absolute flyer.
He has indeed. He's very popular out there in Pakistan. Played for the Multan Sultans team in the PSL a couple of seasons ago. Might not be as popular in Karachi right now. Mohammad Hasnain back into the attack. Starts with a leg stump line ball. It's been guided nicely by Harry Brook down to the fine leg boundary. Just a lovely little touch. Didn't put too much on it. Used the pace of Hasnan, and 4 more to the score. 137 for 4 England from 15.1.
Yeah, it's not what you want as a captain or as a bowler when you introduce a new bowler. He comes in first ball back and he's just strayed too far onto the leg stump. Easy pickings for Harry Brook, and he's on to 17 off 13, and England have just wrestled back that initiative and momentum.
Harry Brook pounding the surface with his bat. In comes Hasnan. Brook just waits on that, guides it out towards deep backward square leg. Fielder Heather Ali onto the ball quickly, so just the single for England that time. 138 for 4, 4.4 overs to go. You'd think England would be disappointed if they don't hit 170, maybe 175 from here.
Yeah, I think that would be a very good total on this. 175, excellent total on this surface. A little bit of inconsistent bounce, and it's clearly taking some spin as well. That'd be an excellent total. But with these two at the crease, if they stay in for another few overs, they'll be looking for around 180.
It's not a bad surface for Liam Dawson to come into the side. Hasnan into Moeen Ali, who drives that ball beautifully out towards the extra cover boundary. There's a fielder out there. Terrific sliding stop in the deep from Heather Ali. Prevented what looked to be a surefire boundary. Hasnan being put under pressure here by both these batters. Moeen Ali,
he's not hanging around, is
no,
he?
he's got 20 off 8. A strike rate of over 200 at the moment.
Moeen can afford to come in and play shots from the word go, because they've still got Curran, Willie, Dawson, Rashid and Wood. Everybody can bat still to come in the shed.
Hasnan into Moeen, who pulls that away nicely out towards the square leg boundary. The fielder can't get near it. 4 more for the England captain. His strike rate continues to improve. England really ramping up now. 144 for 4 from 15.3.
Yeah, that's a really good shot from Moeen Ali. It was short on that occasion, but it wasn't short enough from Hasnan. And a poor bit of fielding on the boundary. Lovely timing though from Moeen Ali. Once again, he continues that form out in the middle today.
He's looking very, very dangerous for England right now. Hasnan into Moeen. That's a much better ball, quick and fast into the block hole. Moeen digs it out to extra cover. They jog through for a single. He's under pressure here, Mohammad Hasnan, young fast bowler, still only in his early 20s. It feels like he's been around a long time already. Mohammad Hasnan clearly been through a lot, had to have his action remodeled, came back, played for the Oval Invincibles in this season's 100, and spent time with Azhar Mahmood, their bowling coach. Got himself back into contention for Pakistan in the absence of Shaheen Afridi. And he comes now to Brook, who smashed this down the ground. Has he got enough distance on it? He does. It's gone for 6 over long off. Harry Brook, he didn't even follow through with his shot that time. Just timed it. That's another 6. England bring up the 150. 151 for 4 after 16 overs.
That is such a good shot, and it would have been a phenomenal shot if it was a pace-on delivery, made even better the fact that it was a slow ball from the bowler. It's gone 77 metres, and Harry Brook has just checked it. Drove it for 6. Easy shot, an elegant shot over long off, and effortless timing from Harry Brook, showing us his talent and why he's such a fine player.
Yeah, another one with a good performance in this season's PSL. He played for the eventual champions, the Lahore Qalandars. Scored 100 for them in one of the T20 games, looking as stylish and exciting as he does today. Now this partnership is worth 50 of 23 balls, really upping the pace in the back end of this innings. England 151 for 4 off 16 overs. Moeen Ali on strike. Haris Rauf back into the attack, bowls a short ball. Moeen Ali pulls, doesn't quite time, goes out towards mid-wicket. Babar Azam was quickly onto the ball there, so they take just the single. Well, Haris Rauf is the sort of de facto leader of this young bowling attack for Pakistan in the absence of Shaheen Afridi, and with Hassan Ali finding himself out of the mix. He did a pretty good job for them in the Asia Cup. This is an altogether different challenge right now with this England team, finding the middle of the bat with regularity at the National Stadium, Karachi. We just take a look at that 6 off Hasnan. It's just such a remarkable shot from Harry Brook. Barely looked like he tried to hit it. In comes Ralph again. Brook with a big swing across the line, under edge, onto his pad. And it's a dot ball. The first in a very long time, it feels like.
Well, the previous 30 balls went for 57 runs. Obviously the 2 wickets, which makes it even more impressive. To go at that rate, having lost 2 wickets, and Ben Duckett, who had the pace and the timing of the surface, played an excellent little knock, and these are notoriously meant to be the hardest overs to bat, especially on these kind of surfaces. Moeen is finding it a breeze in the park. 26 off 11 with Brook 24 off 16. Perfect little partnership for England.
Can they keep it going against Haris Rauf? Quickest of this Pakistani fast bowling quartet, and he comes. It's a short, it's been pulled away high and long. Is it going to go for 6? Yes, it is, comfortably. Harry Brook swiveling, picking out the short boundary and sending the ball sailing over the deep backward square leg area for 6. You don't need to get too much bat on it with Haris Rauf's pace. Harry Brook, again, as you say, shuffling just a little bit. He's using that shuffle to great advantage. He's auditioning for Strictly right now.
The beauty about Harry Brook, he always gives himself a chance, because even though he moves, when he hits it, he's always still. And that's an excellent shot. It's a decent short ball. Picked it up beautifully over fine leg.
Harrison again into the pads of Brook, going down the leg side, so no appeal, but it does go down to Mohammad Hasnan at fine leg, so they take a single. And there's no respite for the bowler at the moment, is there? Both sides.
Yeah, there isn't, and Harry Brook's at an advantage here as well. He's played with Ralph previously. Ralph is obviously at Yorkshire this season and knows him incredibly well, which is his advantage. He can premeditate because he knows the bowler, and he can premeditate well because he knows generally what's going to be coming down at him. He's whacked him over his head, and now he's expecting a short pitch delivery, and he's got it. He's a smart cricketer. Yes, he's talented and skillful, but he's also very smart.
Ralph it again. Moeen Ali moving around his crease, in the end finding himself back in his original position, driving the ball along the ground out towards deep extra cover for a single. Projected scores for England make very pleasant reading if you're an England fan. If they continue at this rate, 190 is on. If they go 11 and over, 195, 13 and over, 201. That's certainly within sight.
Yeah, with batting to come as well, some really good ball strikers still to come. And you'd imagine on these surfaces they'd suit those batsmen to come, with Curran and Willie, excellent ball strikers as well.
Haris Rauf into Brook, and he's bowled him! Brook was looking to play the ramp shot over the keeper. A little bit too quick, a little bit too full. Brook misses, Haris hits, and Pakistan break this dangerous partnership. England 160 for 5 with 3 overs to go.
Yeah, just as I was saying how smart a cricketer Harry Brook is, that's probably the option that he should be going to last. Haris Rauf's gone full and straight, and it's hit the stumps. Harry Brook has gone to reverse paddle him over the keeper, and a man that's got so many options, that would be right at the bottom of my list for him to play. But it's an excellent innings. He goes for 31 off 19. And again, just when Pakistan need it, they get a wicket at the right time. They desperately needed that.
They did. And you talk about, I mean, got almost a bit of a send-off from Haris Rauf. I mean, I know they were teammates at Yorkshire. They were also teammates at the Lahore Qalandars, so it might have been better friends than that by now, but never mind.
I would be celebrating as well, seeing the back of Harry Brook. He's a fine player, as we know, and we've seen a great example of that in this innings that he's just played. You'd be disappointed though, and Harry will be so frustrated. You saw his emotion when he got out. He knew he'd probably picked the wrong option. He's got that many, and the shot selection at this level is so important. On that occasion, it was probably the wrong one.
An impressive cameo nonetheless from Harry Brook. We certainly see a big future, probably in all formats of the game for England.
Yeah, I think he's going to be one for the future. One for now, but one over the next 18 months. I envisage to see him playing all 3 formats.
Shahnawaz Dahani back in for the 18th over. His first ball's been driven to mid-off for a single by Moeen Ali. So Sam Curran will now face up to him. You take another look. It was just behind his... It's not a terrible option, that ramp shot, but
with pace on, it was just a wrong ball because the bowler took the pace off. And I said it was a little bit fuller. It was actually a fraction shorter than I originally thought, into the surface and hit the top of the stumps, but it was a pace off that made it hard to play that shot from Harry Brook.
Dahani into Sam Curran, just under edges that to backward point. They do run through for a single, so Curran off the mark. England 162 for 5, 17.2 overs. Dahani is recovered quite well, taking those 2 wickets and consecutive balls in the power play, the wickets of Hales and Milan. But since then, England have rebuilt really, really well, largely off the back of nice innings from Ben Duckett. Harry Brook as well. Here's Dahani following Moeen Ali as he makes a bit of room. He drives that really hard towards mid-wicket. There's a diving effort from Khushdil Shah. He misses and the ball goes to the boundary. Moeen Ali hits the ball very, very hard. England 166 for 5.
Yeah, it shows the power he's got from that languid swing of his. He's given himself a little bit of room. The bowlers followed him. And even though it was a thick inside edge, he's got enough power behind it to take it to the deep mid-wicket boundary for 4. Another poor bit of fielding. When you get your hand to the ball as an international fielder, you want to be stopping that going for 4. But having said that, the power of Moeen Ali takes it to the boundary.
Dahani in again to Moeen Ali, who's pulled this up in the air and into the... Oh, he's put it down! Khushdil Shah's had a nightmare. It was right down his throat and he's put it down. Oh my word.
As an outfielder, that's about as easy a catch as you get. Moeen Ali's towed it out to deep mid-wicket. The same fielder that misfielded the previous ball took it for 4. That was a towed shot from Moeen Ali, so it takes all the pace off the ball. And it's kind of looped to him, as soft as it's going to come to in the outfield. And nonchalantly tries to catch it, but fumbles it and it hits the deck and he panics and throws it back in. That's not ideal for Pakistan because they needed to see the back of Moeen Ali.
Wow, Khushdil Shah. How costly is that drop going to be? Shahnawaz Dahani into Sam Curran. That's quick and fast from Dahani. He's just been dug out to backward point. They run through for a single. He's found a lot more success when he's bowled full and fast into the crease. It really was a straightforward chance for Khushdil. And the crowd really let their fury be known in that moment in Karachi.
That could cost him a few runs with 13 deliveries still remaining, and Moeen Ali in the form he's in, 33 or 15 balls, could cost him a few at the back end here.
And you don't want to put down a batter who's going at over 200 strike rate in the back end, as you say. 13 balls to come in this innings. England 168 for 5. Shan Masood in the outfield just tapping his chest. In comes Dahani again into Moeen Ali, who deftly just works that away to the fine leg boundary for 4 more runs. Insult to injury for Shahnawaz Dahani. He finishes his spell. His figures don't necessarily reflect how well he's bowled, to be fair. 4 overs, 2 for 37. But right now, it's the England batters very much on top, and a little bit of that, at least, is Pakistan's own making.
Yeah, and that final over of his has cost him 12 runs as well. How often does that happen as a bowler, when you have an easy catch dropped off your bowler and the next delivery to the same batsman so often goes for 4? And in that occasion, it wasn't the best ball, it was on Moeen Ali's hip, and he just helps it away. An easy little dab pull shot round the corner, beats a man at 45. Another 4 to Moeen Ali, 37 off 16 deliveries. England 172 for 5 with 2 overs remaining. You would expect them to get up to at least 190, 195.
Most certainly. And with Moeen Ali out there, I think that 200 is very much in their target for England, vindicating that decision to bat first as well on this surface. And making Babar Azam's prediction of sort of 150, 160, or at least his goal of 150, 160 look a long, long way away. Here's Haris Rauf now. There's a scoop shot from Sam Curran. He didn't really middle it, but he got enough on it to get it away for a 1 bounce forward to fine leg. Good option against the quicker bowlers, especially when it's full. 4 more to England, 176 for 5.
Yeah, and unlike Harry Brook previously, he's picked the right ball. It was a pace-on ball from Haris Rauf, and he's just dabbed it, kept his balance, dabbed it over 45, just inside the rope for a one bounce 4. Excellent little bit of innovation from Sam Curran.
It must make you furious as a fast bowler, you know, because they're using your own tool against you.
Yeah, it was a good ball as well, wasn't it? It was right in the block hole.
Curran's on 6 off 3. Haris Rauf into Curran. He just squared him up a little bit there. He just pushed the ball away into the covers with soft hands. Runs through for a single.
Yeah, that's a man that's expecting a short delivery. The next ball, he was certainly expecting a short one.
Now, Haris Rauf at the moment, not unlike Shahnawaz Dahani, has good figures. 2 for 27. It's just those last few big shots that spoiled Dahani's return. Can Moeen Ali do the same to Pakistan's, well, certainly in this 11, their premier fast bowler? Here's Rauf into Moeen Ali. That's a good ball, just wide outside off stump. Saw Moeen Ali making a bit of room, pushed it wider inside the tram line. That's a valuable dot ball for Pakistan.
Yeah, that's why he's such an important player for Pakistan, Haris Rauf. He's got so many options with the ball. He's got so many options. He's got a straight Yorker, wide Yorker, and on that occasion he takes the pace off the ball and beats Moeen Ali outside the off stump.
Are you all set for washing machines at home, James?
I was trying to keep a straight face.
I can't do it. It was just the look of joy on the man's face. Here's Haris Rauf now. This is short outside the off stump. Moeen Ali cuts it away out to deep extra cover. He'll take just a single.
I think you've got to explain what was going on.
Well, on the big screen in the ground, they had a gentleman sitting beside a giant washing machine, riding what looked like one of those, like a cable row machine in the gym.
Yeah, like an ergo.
Yeah, that's it.
Machine, rowing machine.
He's just doing that, but he was doing it with the biggest smile on his face, like Christmas Day. You know, getting to do that and power up that electrically charged washing machine, I suppose. Well, if you're going to do product placement, make it entertaining. That's what I say. Quick ball from Rauf on a good length, and it beats the outside edge of Sam Curran on its way through to the keeper, who collects, but seemed a bit unhappy there, Mohammad Rizwan.
That was quick. 150 kilometers an hour.
Yeah.
Really quick from Haris Rauf. Had some anger behind it. Again, he bowled beautifully the other night, first game, and he's bowled nicely again. 2 for 28 or 3.5. Good job for Haris Rauf for Pakistan, else this score would be a lot higher.
It is indeed. Burst onto the scene in the Big Bash League a couple of seasons ago. Here's Haris Rauf again. This is a low full toss. It's been guided away nicely by Sam Curran, but a terrific sliding stop in the deep from Shahnawaz Dahani. Sort of lost the ball behind him and sort of chased his tail for a second, but he got the ball back. 2 more to the England score. 180 for 5. 1 over to go. England have done really, really well here. Continued their slick form from the first T20 international. As we always say, though, it's very important to finish strong.
Yeah, they've been at this second half from England. They've been outstanding. I mean, Duckett in those middle overs, notoriously hard against the slower pace bowlers on surfaces like this. He had the touch and the timing in those middle overs, and great exponent of the reverse sweep, one of the best in the world. You have to, certainly in domestic cricket, he's done it for a long time, and now he's showing on the big stage what he can do in those middle overs.
Indeed. Moeen Ali on strike. Here's Mohammad Hasnain. It's a short, it's been strappled by Moeen Ali. It's trickling away towards the long off boundary. Oh, there's a sliding stop from Mohammad Nawaz. Babar Azam gets the throw back in, so it'll be 2 more to the score. Crucially for England, it's Moeen Ali who's going to keep the strike. He's on 40 off 19 balls. Still going at over 200 with his strike rate. I think if you're going over 200 and you faced 19 balls, you're doing pretty well.
Yeah, especially like we said in these overs that he's come in with the fielders out on this surface that isn't the quickest. Excellent ball striking from Moeen Ali.
He's just chewing away on that gum as he looks around and surveys the field. 182 for 5. Mohammad Hasnain into Moeen Ali. This is back of a length, and Moeen Ali just mistimes that towards mid-wicket. He still wants 2 though, and they're going to get it. The fielder at long on was very, very far back. So Babar Azam I think the umpire is just signalling that that was a no ball for overstepping the previous one. I believe it's for overstepping. I don't think it was for a fielding infraction. We're just going to find out if the next ball is going to be a free hit.
That's why Moen was so desperate to get back on strike.
Yeah, it is going to be a free hit. It is a free hit. Moeen Ali's back on strike. It was quite emphatically yelled by the umpire, really. A few times. Now then, free hit time. Moeen Ali on strike. In comes Mohammad Hasnain. He bowls full and fast. Moeen Ali just digs that out. It's a good ball, to be fair, from Hasnain. Goes out for a single to deep extra cover. And perhaps valuably for Pakistan, gets Moeen Ali off strike as well. 186 for 5. 4 balls to go.
Yeah, really good ball that, actually. A wide Yorker bowling to his field. He's got the men out on the offside. And that's gone straight to deep point. So he's got a deep point, deep cover, deep long off. Bowled it really nicely.
They look slightly deflated, the Pakistani fielders, as if almost England have already done enough. Hasnain into Sam Curran, who was looking to play a ramp shot, then wanted to play a pull shot, but either way he missed the ball. Went through to the keeper, no run. Good change of pace that from Hasnain as well. Just rolling his fingers across the ball. It's hard to start timing those from the word go, isn't it?
Yeah, I think Sam Curran was expecting something different. It was well bowled. It was, you can say, a bluff from the bowler, but he executed it perfectly, and Sam Curran was certainly expecting something different.
Hasnain into Curran again, who makes a bit of room. Hasnain follows him, and that ball's been driven down to long on for a single. He's pulled it back nicely here, Mohammad Hasnain, but now he's got Moeen Ali to contend with. The England captain on 43 of 21 deliveries. Score up for England, 187 for 5, still 2 balls to come. It's been a tough day at the office for these Pakistani bowlers. They'll probably be looking forward to getting their feet up. In comes Hasnain again, and Moeen Ali's hammered it. Oh my word, it's gone a long way up and a long way out. It might have gone out of the National Stadium, Karachi. I think he's put it on the roof. Moeen Ali, what a shot. He moves on to 49 off 22 deliveries. England 193 for 5.
Once again, Moeen Ali showing us what an amazing ball striker he is. He gets back in the slot, he goes back into his crease and then launches it over deep mid-wicket, straight into the crowd, and it's gone 101 metres.
Wow.
What a knock this has been from Moeen Ali.
Hasnain into Moeen Ali for the last ball. Has been pulled away. I think that's going to be 6 as well. Yes, it is. Moeen Ali finishes the England innings with a couple of braces. 2 6s into the leg side. Mohammad Hasnain won't want to look at his bowling figures. England finished just 1 shy of that 200 mark. 199 for 5 off 20 overs. A huge total in the context of this pitch, this surface, and that bowling attack.
Yeah, phenomenal knock from Moeen Ali. That, again, lovely timing from Moeen Ali. Over deep mid-wicket, brings up his 55 of 23 deliveries. What timing from Moeen Ali throughout, brute force as well. That lovely languid swing of his, added with timing. Excellent knock from the captain, and he's got England up to what you'd imagine is a well above par total, and it's going to be incredibly hard to chase on this surface. If England bowl anywhere near what they can do, this is going to be an incredible chase for Pakistan if they manage to do it.
Yeah, it's going to be very tough for a team that's already been struggling with the bat and not quite finding their rhythm. But they do have the world's number 1 and number 2 in their batting ranks with Mohammad Rizwan and Babar Azam. Certainly some firepower in the middle order as well. It's just a matter of them coming together. England will be very, very pleased with that, though. They won the toss, remember, and batted first. Phil Salt and Alex Hills with a terrific partnership up top. Salt going for 30 off 27 balls, falling to Haris Rauf. And Alex Hills went for 26 to Shahnawaz Dahani, who also got David Milan the next ball for a duck. Ben Duckett played lovely innings before he was bowled by Mohammad Nawaz. 43 off 22 for him. Harry Brook got 31 off 19, and Moeen Ali finishing on 55 off 23 deliveries. An outstanding half-century for him. We've seen him do that a few times this season already. Now then, for the Pakistani bowlers, it's a scorecard that not too many will want to look at. The pick of them probably Haris Rauf. 4 overs, 2 for 30 for him. Shahnawaz Dahani, 4 overs, 2 for 37. Could have had a third, but had Moeen Ali dropped in the deep by Hushdil Shah. And everybody else going for almost, or at least, 10 runs and over. Quite remarkable hitting. Let's go over to Zainab Abbas, who's talking to Ben Duckett.
Well played. It seems like the intent is to attack from word go.
Yeah, I think it's really about matchups, and yeah, the left arm spin and the leg spinner was mine, and it was I had to try and get us into a good position, and I think we were probably thinking about 160, 170 was par, so Mo's innings there at the end's got us into a good position.
You yourself took on the spinners really well. I mean, is that something that's been consciously part of your game overall?
Yeah, it's a strength of mine back home. A lot of the time you can hit fielders, and thankfully today a lot of the sweeps went in the gaps, but it's certainly my role in this team.
How are the conditions any different to the one that you played in the first T20?
Yeah, I didn't face much against the seam, but it seems like it's keeping a little bit low, and the slow balls are gripping in, so I think in general the lads in the power play said it was quite tough, so yeah, I think we've got a good score.
Well, you were aiming for 160, 170, but now the target is 200, so you're confident about it, right?
Well, we're definitely happy with where we're at, but obviously small boundaries here in a quick outfield, so we know we're going to have to bowl well, and I think the main thing here is taking wickets throughout the innings.
Well, you've played in the PSL as well. I mean, is that something that's really helped your game, knowing the conditions already?
Yeah, I only played in a couple of games, but obviously being here and seeing other lads do well, I know how short the boundaries are, and I know that if you do hit it in the gap here, it's generally 4. So yeah, it's obviously handy that I've been here before.
Well, thank you so much for your thoughts, and go well.
Thank you. Cheers.
That's Ben Duckett talking to Zainab Abbas. And England have set Pakistan a huge total. They need to score 200 to restore parity in this 7-match T20 series. And this is a hugely significant tour, with England coming to Pakistan for the very first time since 2005. And the British High Commissioner Christian Turner has been talking about the significance of this tour with our reporter Joe Wilson.
Christian, good to see you. I wonder if I could ask your overwhelming feeling that a match has taken place, England are here, and what is the significance from your point of view?
Yeah, Joe, I couldn't be happier. I clearly love the sport, love the game. It's great to see England playing here, but it's bigger than that, isn't it? I mean, the ties between the two countries are very deep. We've got people-to-people links. For 17 years we've been waiting for this moment, and I think it just means a massive amount of fans in both countries at a time when, frankly, it's not been an easy few weeks. The floods here, the death of Her Late Majesty the Queen, is going to give everyone a huge lift, and I think represent a lot more than just a great game of cricket.
Floods have clearly been in people's minds, and even the shirts that the Pakistan players are wearing symbolise that and show solidarity. Is enough of the message going through? Is enough relief getting through? What do you think cricket's role is in that?
No, look, I hope it is, and I hope, as Josh Butler said, we can use the game to just slightly highlight what's going on here. It's absolutely devastating what the country's going through. The England players have made a big donation to the disaster appeal, which has been matched by the ECB. All the gate proceeds tonight, the PCB are donating. I was with the chairman of the big bank that's sponsoring. They're giving $1,000 for every 6. He's not very happy with how the game's going because there's a bit of a hole in his pocket. So I think we're showing the world that this is a serious emergency, that we need to really support Pakistan. The UK government's given £16.5 million of aid. That's a significant piece of support. My team are working through that. But more broadly, it actually allows us to show solidarity with Pakistan after 17 years of not playing here.
And Christian, cricket is just cricket and sport is just sport, but it's never just sport.
It's never just sport.
And the thing is, people love sport, so people pay attention. So when people see that England are coming to tour Pakistan as a cricket team, do you think that helps to change a broader perception of the safety of Pakistan?
It sends a message, Joe, and my job here is not to be a cheerleader for Pakistan, it's to advance British interests, but I think this tour is in our interest. Some of the perceptions of Pakistan are outdated. They're related to 10, 15 years ago. The country's a very different place now, and I think all over the world you've got good arrangements in place, a lot of hard work from the ECB, fantastic job, the PCB. Both cricket boards have worked really hard with my team to try and make this tour a success, and that's what we need to do, the hard yards to get these games starting again, and we'll see, I think, teams from all over the world coming back to play in wonderful stadiums like this. The atmosphere, absolutely incredible, and long may it last.
Final quick point. Cricket has, and still is a common language, and I guess there's a temptation to think back to Commonwealth and Empire because of starting that off, but looking forward, how important is Pakistan's a trading relationship or partnership relationship with the UK?
So I think that's where this can change things. So that relationship between the two people I talked about, the very fact we've got journalists like yourselves here, we've got a team, a coaching, a management, travelling party, the fans that are going to come to both these T20s and then the 3 tests later in the year, that allows everybody to see there's opportunity here. We're only an hour from the Gulf, where there are 5,000 British companies based. We've only got about 200 here in Pakistan. Those companies need to think, hang on, there's a country here, there's a city with 25 million English-speaking people ready for investment. That's what the country needs at the minute. We've got, over half the population is under 25, young population, English-speaking, huge opportunity to deepen those ties through the Gulf, back to the UK with the diaspora. It's those trade links and jobs that these sorts of events help us build.
That was Christian Turner, the British High Commissioner, speaking to our reporter there about the significance of this tour, the significance of getting teams over to Pakistan as well, and it just speaks to the significance of English cricket as well, doesn't it, James? Because teams have been to Pakistan in the last since 2019. We've seen the Sri Lankan team go back over there and play Test cricket. Zimbabwe's been over. South Africa's been over. Australia, went over this year as well, with a lot of pomp and circumstance around that tour. But England going feels like a very special homecoming. It's just the significance of the team.
Yeah, exactly right. It's a massive moment for both teams, and it's great to see England back out there. You could see in the crowd last game just how delighted they were. The banners all around the ground saying thank you to England and welcome. So yeah, I know the boys are delighted to be over there, and they love playing over there. Obviously, a number of them been over in the PSL. Unfortunately, because of circumstances last year, they didn't go over. So this is even more importance on this visit. And I know the team, the management, the staff, supporters are so pleased that they've all gone out there and made it this time. And like I said, what an experience for the guys to be out there.
Absolutely, and because they have that camaraderie. I mean, we were talking in commentary about. Haris Rauf coming over and playing for Yorkshire here, Harry Brook playing for Yorkshire alongside Haris Rauf, but also going over to play in the PSL. Ben Duckett's played a few games over there. I know Steve Finn is with us as well. He's played a match out there as well. But so many of these guys, Alex Hills as well. I mean, he was recalled to the side, and a lot of the sort of social media previews to the game involved him. Bear in mind, he's not sort of a settled England lineup player that you go to, but there's a lot of affection for him in Pakistan based on his exploits playing for the Islamabad team and the Karachi team in the PSL. I mean, these guys get a lot of love out there as well. There's a draw to going there.
Yeah, there is, and they get a lot of following on social media as well, so the fans are already connected to the players, and like we said, the players have had so much experience and so much love from the fans and support. I know they're delighted to be back out there, and they love playing out there with all the razzmatazz that comes with it, the fans, the loud crowds, and the emotion that comes with playing in Pakistan after being away for so long. What an experience for these boys, and I'm very envious that they get to play out there. Unfortunately, I never got to. I was playing whenever I played against Pakistan, we played in the UAE, which is an amazing place in itself, but to play in front of those fanatical fans, like full house there, you can see in Karachi. What an experience for these guys, and the surfaces are so good to play on. It makes for great cricket all round and a great spectacle.
It does indeed. I'll tell you what else will make for a great spectacle, James Taylor, if Pakistan are somehow able to chase down 200 at the National Stadium, Karachi, because that's what they'll have to do if they're to square up this series. Got the world number 1 and 2 in Mohammad Rizwan, and Babar Azam. Rizwan getting a 50 in the first game. Couldn't take his team to a winning total, but I mean, look at that average. Strike rate is pretty good as well, 127, but averaging 51 in T20 cricket, that's quite remarkable.
Yeah, they're so consistent, especially in a format like this where there are risks involved and you play an expansive game, but these two are going to have to play a more expansive game than usual. Chasing down 200, they're going to have to get well ahead of the rate, you'd think, in this first 6 overs when the ball is at its hardest and the surface is at its best with this hard ball. These guys have notoriously been criticised for going a little bit too slow and being too measured up front. So I think they're going to have to get on with it up front and put these England new ball bowlers under pressure.
Yeah, and England's new ball bowlers have a lot of experience as well. David Willey has done so well. Again, another one of these England players who's played in the PSL before. He played for the Karachi Kings, the most recent addition. course, the Karachi Kings won only one of their 9 games in this edition of the PSL. Now David Willey, he's at the top of his run, and it's going to be Mohammad Rizwan who's going to face up to him. The crowd still anticipating something for the home side. They don't expect this to be all one-way traffic. In any case, here we go. Let's kick things off. David Willey into Mohammad Rizwan, who works this out towards mid-wicket. They're going to come back for 2. Could be tight. No. Throws slightly offline. Pakistan off and running from the first ball. 2 runs for nothing off 1 ball. Still, it's a huge task. Stephen Finn back in alongside me, and scoring 200 in any circumstance is very difficult. Never mind when your batting lineup has question marks all over it.
Yes, I think they're going to have to get a flying start.
In comes David Willey to Rizwan, who's carved this away nicely between backward point and cover. That's going to run away to the boundary for 4. Terrific shot from Rizwan. Not too much wrong with the delivery.
No, back of a length. I think David Willey looking for a bit of shape back into the right-handed Mohammad Rizwan, but not getting any. The seam position is good, but it just drifts across him, and Rizwan able to use the pace on offer and hit it into the hard square, so it races away through backward point for 4 runs. But a good start for Pakistan. I think they are going to have to get a flying start in this power play, because as soon as Adil Rashid gets the ball in his hands, he's going to have a big say.
Willey into Rizwan, who just defends this out towards mid-wicket. No run on that occasion. Yeah, 200 is it's always a tough chase. It's probably even more daunting when your captain's already tipped his hand and said, we'd like to chase 150, 160.
Yeah, I think the 50 beyond where Babar Azam would have wanted them to be, but it is a small ground, and as you've seen, when someone gets going, it can be hard work to contain them.
Willey into Rizwan, who's worked this away nicely off his hips. It's running away towards the mid-wicket boundary. The fielder in pursuit isn't going to get there. It's a good start this for Pakistan. 10 for no loss after 4 balls. Mohammad Rizwan finding his growl, continuing the good form he had in the first match.
Yes, yeah, lovely timing from Rizwan. Just that little bit more intent, I think, than we saw in the first match, but it's necessary when you're chasing a score of 200. Here he just turns his wrists on it through mid-wicket. All control, all along the floor. And always 4 along the ground. Lovely.
Willey in again. This is short, mistimed by Rizwan out towards deep square leg this time. They take just the single. Did think about the second, but it wasn't quite there. So now finally Babar Azam has the strike. He's been supplanted at the top of the ICC rankings by his opening partner, but hasn't decreased his fandom at all. Certainly not in Karachi, the team which he captains in the Pakistan Super League. Still widely acknowledged as one of the best all-format batters in the world right now. And he's going to face up to David Willey. In he comes, he bowls back of a length. Babar has flicked that away nicely towards deep backward square leg. Fielder onto it very quickly. It's Dawson out there, just a single, so Babar will keep the strike. He's off the mark as well. Pakistan have made a good start there, 12 for no loss after 1 over. Still 188 needed from 114 balls. Even with the small boundaries, which everybody's alluded to, and the reasonably good surface, feels like it would be a tall order against this England bowling attack.
Yeah, I think Pakistan didn't learn from the other night, and watching what worked for England on this wicket, I think they could have gleaned more information from that coming into the first innings of this game. Yes, it is a decent wicket. I wouldn't say it's an excellent wicket, but it's a decent wicket, and the boundaries are small. But I think Pakistan could have dragged their length back and bowled a bit more pace off into the surface. So that's why England have got the score that they've got. And England, if they don't bowl well, then there's by no means that Pakistan can't turn this down or chase this down. But Liam Dawson comes into the attack, which I think is a good move for England, and I think he'll bowl intelligently here.
And mirroring Pakistan's tactic of starting with one of the slower bowlers, back of a length from Dawson, and Babar just waits in his crease and drives it out towards Duckett down at long on.
I think that back of a length that Dawson's just bowled there is going to be imperative to the way that England contain Pakistan through this innings. I thought Pakistan's spinners maybe a touch full, which allowed Ben Duckett to sweep and manipulate the strike and the ball as he saw fit. At the time, here Liam Dawson will be predominantly into the pitch, so that the Pakistani batters have to play across the line and cross-batted shots in order to score runs.
Dawson has Rizwan to bowl to.
Go on, Dawson! Do this first one in.
There's Dawson into Rizwan, who just works this out towards the leg side, gently, run through for a single. The big criticism that's come from some quarters of Pakistani cricket journalists is that these two don't always get off to a flyer. They don't adopt the strategy that so many countries around the world have of going with your big power hitters up top. And if you look at the England openers, you got Alex Hills and Phil Salt in this game, but normally you'd have Josh Butler, Jason Roy at the time. Really imposing batters at the top. Not to say that these two aren't capable of that, it's just not the strategy they employ. Pakistan favouring the old conserve wickets and go big at the end strategy. In comes Dawson now to Babar Azam, who just rocks back in his crease and drives, but can't beat the diver. Extra cover from Harry Brook, and he gets a throw in for good measure as well. Good bit of work on that hard square. It can't be fun to dive on that, Finney.
No, it's not. It really isn't. Usually I find myself grazing out on the boundary, but when I've been captain or in a senior position, you find yourself in on the square. You've got no choice but to dive on it, unfortunately.
Dawson in again. That ball's been driven to mid-on, I beg your pardon. No run. Another dot ball sort of ran into Dawson there, did Rizwan at the non-strikers end, and had a nice little moment, just sharing a few fist bumps. Dawson into Babar Azam, who makes a bit of room that time. He's flicked it away towards mid-wicket. There is a fielder out there, so it'll just be the single. You don't see that too often from Babar Azam. He's usually very static. The throw from the deep hits the stumps on the full, and there was a thought of an overthrow for a second, but none taken. Is there a bit of pressure on Babar Azam? He's just moving around a little bit?
Well, I think he's just trying to manipulate the field. He's obviously not the sort of player who will stand there and slog across the line. He's going to look to use the angles and manipulate the ball through that offside field that are all in the ring. That's where his boundary options will be. By stepping outside leg stump, he gives himself the option to do that, but Liam Dawson saw him and followed him.
Dawson into Rizwan, who's worked that away into the leg side again for a single. It's a good first over this from Liam Dawson. Just the 4 runs from it. Pakistan 16 for no loss after 2 overs. Feeling their way into this game. Not quite coming out all guns blazing as some might have expected. This is very much the way this Pakistani openers approach that power play. They average 46 together for the power play, Rizwan and Babar, which is significantly lower than most of the other T20 international playing nations. But it has worked for them from time to time. This is a big test for that strategy though, chasing 200. Their highest successful chase for Pakistan was against the West Indies last December. They chased 208. Memorable game just before Christmas. They'll have to replicate some of that form. Sam Curran now into the attack, and he comes to Rizwan, who drives at that nicely outside off stump. There's protection in the deep in the covers. Ben Duckett gets the throw back in, and they get just the single. Fielders here, Finney, really up for this, even in that heat, that serious heat that's out there in Karachi.
Yeah, but they know that wickets are the order of the day for them here, especially if they get through these big 2 at the top of the order. It puts a lot of pressure on that middle order, so the England fielders and bowlers hunting wickets right now, trying to contain Pakistan into forcing their hand and making the mistakes.
Sam Curran into Babar, who's driven at that very nicely, but picks out Moeen Ali, the England captain, an extra cover, and there is no run. I wonder if that frustration is going to build for Babar a little bit, struggling to get away the England bowlers who've been very consistent and relentless almost on a good length.
Yeah, and it's that slightly back of a length, meaning that you can't just stand there and step and swing through the ball. When the ball is that slight bit shorter, you give the opportunity for it to deviate slightly off the surface.
Sam Curran into Babar Azam, who attempts to bottom hand that through mid-wicket, picks out Harry Brook inside the circle, so there's no run again. You sense there's a little bit of pressure building here. 17 for no loss off 2.3 overs. 183 needed off 105 balls. It's a tall order at the best of times. More so, batters just keep picking out fielders. You know how good Babar Azam is. Certainly capable. Can he find his rhythm? Here in Karachi, Sam Curran into Babar, who pulls away at that, and it beats the dive of the fielder at mid-on. He just got a hand to it, but not enough to take any pace off the ball. Runs away to the boundary at long on. Babar has his first. Pakistan 21 for no loss off 2.4 overs.
Much needed boundary here for Babar Azam. Off-cutter, attempted off-cutters from Sam Curran, but slightly wide of off-stump. It meant that Babar could stand there and swing his arms through the ball. When it's wide of off-stump, it allows you the freedom to just swing your arms at it. It's a good enough connection there to beat the infielder at mid-on.
Curran into Babar Azam, who drives nicely right back towards the bowler, who picked that up neatly in his follow-through. Sam Curran had a shy at the stumps as well. Missed, but lucky for him, Phil Salt was paying attention.
So you don't want a little nick off the stump there and it races away for 4. My inclination is always to just hold on to the ball in that situation, because although if you throw overthrows off your own bowling, you can't get angry at yourself, can you? Because it's you just feel silly.
Did you always hold on to the ball, Finney?
I think so. Well, unless the person's miles out of the crease.
A slower ball from Sam Curran, but picked by Babar Azam. He waited on it and slapped it back over his head, down the ground for 4. A couple of boundaries in that over for Babar Azam as he looks to get going. 9 off that over. Pakistan 25 for no loss off 3 overs.
Slow off cutter from Sam Curran this time. Wide of off stump, but it's too full. Babar can pick it, delay his backswing, just hit it straight back over Sam Curran's head. I think he'll be ruined the fact that that wasn't into the surface. We've spoken a lot this evening about that. The ball needs to be into the surface to give it a chance to grip and deviate, as you see when you roll your fingers over the ball. Now, unsurprisingly, Luke Wood, who had such a good game a few days ago, comes into the attack to try and break this partnership.
Yeah, 4th over of this innings, and the 4th bowler we're going to see. Moeen Ali keeping everybody on their toes, trying not to let the Pakistani batters line up any of these bowlers. Just flailing his arms out in the outfield, trying to get everybody in the right position. It's Luke Wood playing his 2nd T20 international. In he comes to Mohammad Rizwan, back of a length. Rizwan just flicks that away, wide of the fielder inside the circle. It's Ben Duckett, who's at deep backward square leg, who had to run round to a fine leg position to get that throw back in. The batters get through for just a single. 26 for no loss. So impressive, that debut from Luke Wood a couple of days ago.
Yeah, it was. It's impressive facial hair he's got as well at the moment. That is a finely manicured goatee tash combo he's got. A lot of time in the mirror sorting that out, by the looks of it.
Do you reckon he did it himself? Not a professional job?
It looks professional.
Wood into Babar Azam. This is down the leg side. Lost his shape there. An excellent take, actually, from Phil Salt. Made a lot of distance to make sure he got behind that. That's a freebie for Pakistan. 27 for no loss of 3.1.
Yeah, Babar continues to move around the crease, stepping towards that wide line down the leg side. Luke Wood sees him and tries to cramp him for room, but just gets it a little bit wrong and goes a little bit too far towards the leg side. Phil Salt saves him 5 wide. I don't mind the idea or the concept of just trying to trap batters for room and giving them no option to free their arms.
Here's Luke Wood again into Babar Azam, who's hammered this through the covers. He's run away to the boundary for 4. Goodness, that went off his bat like a bullet. 4 more to the score. Babar Azam looking, after quite a while, ominous today.
Yeah, I mean, Babar, he'd have been laying in bed this morning just dreaming of a delivery that he'd want to get inside the first 6 overs, and that's probably it. Pace on, short and wide from Luke Wood. No movement back into the right-hander. That was a sign of his bowling this summer. The movement back in, none there. Babar Azam crashes it through point for 4.
Luke Wood into Babar Azam again, who has another flash of that one. This time he misses. Slightly shorter length. Babar smiles to himself, as well he might, because it went through to the keeper for no run. It didn't get a little tickle on it. 31 for no loss Pakistan off 3.3, and Babar and Rizwan just having a little chat out in the middle. Still a very tall order this. 169 runs needed from 99 balls. serious challenge for this Pakistan team, playing at home, playing in Karachi. In comes Luke Wood. Good ball that, full of a length, and Babar just getting forward and defending that. 140 kilometers per hour. And Luke Wood really ramping up the pace. We saw him bowl quick in the 100 this season as well, didn't we?
Yeah, we've seen some pace bowling tonight, haven't we? A couple of the Pakistani bowlers getting to 150 kilometres an hour. Very, very quick. Luke Wood here, 140. And catch up to them a little bit, but it's slippery, and he did bowl quick in the 100, yeah. Consistently around 90 miles an hour.
Babar Azam on strike. In comes Luke Wood, driven nicely by Babar. Can't beat David Willey at mid-wicket. The throw comes in as well. There is no run. 31 for no loss. It's Pakistan looking to record their highest successful chase against England in T20s there. They'll be thinking back to December 2021 when they managed to beat the West Indies by 7 wickets, chasing down 208. And they still had 7 balls to spare. On that occasion, Mohammad Rizwan scoring 87 from 45 deliveries. It was a remarkable chase. Here's Luke Wood again, slightly shorter, but very, very quick. Mistimed pull shot from Babar Azam. They'd run through for a single. There's a shy at the stump from David Willey. It's unsuccessful. And in the end of all of that, it was one more to the score. 32 for no loss after 4.
Just rushed on to the batter there, Luke Wood. Skipping through the crease. Skipping onto the batter, just hitting it on the splice. Scrambled through for a single. And actually, we're looking at that scorecard there. Asif Ali is 21 from 7 balls at the end of that game. Important 21 runs from 7 balls. I think from what I've seen, he's one of the best ball strikers or 6 hitters in Pakistani cricket, but he's not in this squad, is he?
No, he had a lean run in the Asia Cup, and he came under criticism for some of his shot selection. And my personal feeling is, I mean, when you play high-risk cricket, or your role is to play high-risk cricket, you deserve to have a little bit more leeway. As David Willey into Babar Azam, who's had a big swing at that again not timed it, goes out to deep backward square leg for a single. 33 for no loss. But yeah, I mean, last year we saw in the World T20, the T20 World Cup, Asif Ali hit those remarkable 3 sixes against Afghanistan to win Pakistan a game there. He's repeated that feat on numerous occasions, but it was felt that Pakistan wanted to go with a different option in the lower order power hitting department. There's a few contenders for that spot in Pakistan. David Willey into Mohammad Rizwan now, who's flicked this high and over the square leg boundary for 6. A remarkable shot from Rizwan. It's one that we see so often. Just gets down on one knee and flicks it. Just a little flick. 39 for no loss of 4.2 overs.
Plays that shot so well. Just pure timing. His front foot goes across towards off stump, and the left arm angle of David Willey would have been interested in that being LBW for a second. Instead, he just gets his hands quick enough underneath the ball, and they whip round and whip through the ball and help it on its way over fine leg. Such a simple shot, but so effective. That goes for 6. Again, propels Pakistan on to 39 from 4.2 overs. At the moment, they're up with the rate.
In comes David Willey again. A quick dipping delivery, which Rizwan squirts out to mid-wicket for a single. 40 for no loss of 4.3. 160 needed off 93. Still need over 10 and over. We know that these two are very, very capable batters. Plenty of batting to come as well. The likes of Hushdil Shah, Shan Masood, Iftikhar, Haider Ali, all capable of hitting the ball a long way. Can England contain Pakistan here? Here's David Willey into Babar Azam, who makes a bit of room. He's carved that up in the air and into the gap. 1 bounce 4 for Pakistan's captain. Well, there's joy around the National Stadium, Karachi. We're absolutely thrilled with this performance so far from these two opening batters, number 1 and 2 in the ICC T20 batting rankings. Right now, batting very much like it.
It's not brutal, is it? It's pure finesse. Babar taking the initiative and moving around the crease, giving himself the room.
There's a shorter from David Willey. Babar waiting on it, flicking it down to deep backward square leg. single taken. 45 for no loss, or 4.5 overs. It's all 4s and 5s at the moment. David Willey, expensive start for him. 1.5 overs, 25 runs. He's had great success against Pakistan before. This occasion, just struggling, perhaps defending the short boundaries, the good batting conditions, and he comes with a full delivery on the pads of Rizwan, who's flicked this away nicely again, but picks out the fielder in the deep, and it'll just be a single. So 5 overs gone in this Pakistan innings, and just about keeping up with that asking rate. 46 for no loss, and Rizwan on 23 off 12, Babar on 22. A few thoughts from yourself, Stephen Finn, about what you've seen so far, whether you've been impressed, whether you think they could do better, and then you're going to be joined by Simon Mann.
Pakistan have made a very solid start to this chase. Lost no early wickets. Rizwan looks in imperious form. Babar Azam looks to be getting into his stride, finding the boundary a couple of times in the last 2 overs. I still believe that the introduction of Adil Rashid is going to determine the outcome of this game. If they manage to play him and take him for around 8 and over, 8, 9 and over, I think that they've got a good chance of winning this game still, Pakistan, but he's going to be the danger man when it comes to bowling.
Same staging, there were 42 for no wicket, Pakistan 46 for no wicket, England making 199 for 5 with a significant spurt at the end, and Moeen Ali hitting the last 2 balls the innings for 6. He was 55 not out. Here's Dawson, last over of the power play, bowls to Rizwan, it goes to the sweep. He's struck there quite high up on the leg, and Dawson was initially inclined to shout for LBW, but decided against it. Didn't look quite right. The ball went away into the offside, and there's no run. Salt came from behind the stumps to pick up. 46 for no wicket. Start of the 6th over. Dawson's first over going for England, playing 3 spinners tonight. They do have the 6 bowling options. Pakistan only using 5. And here is Dawson. Didn't have to bat, goes in and bowls to Rizwan, hits him high in the air, down the ground, out towards the long off boundary, and dropped by Alex Hales. Well, it felt like a catch that should have been taken. We saw one in the England innings when Kushtil dropped Moeen Ali. That definitely should have been taken. Hales had 2 goes at it and could not cling on. It was high into the air, steepler, one hand off the bat, and one of those catches really you want your fielder to take. Really disappointing moment.
It was, and that was the introduction or reintroduction of spin into the piece.
48 for no wicket. Rizwan goes again, out towards the long on boundary this time. I think he's got a bit more of this one. He has. He's gone for 6. Well, that's even more punishing for Liam Dawson, who should have had a wicket there. Pakistan's 50 is up, 54 for no wicket. Midway through the 6th over, a life for Rizwan, and the next ball is plonked over the long on boundary.
That does rub salt into the wounds. It's quick from Dawson. Rizwan skipped straight out the crease, 91 metre 6. It's a big hit. Comes sprinting out the crease, and that really does rub salt into the wound.
Rizwan on strike, goes to the sweep this time. Again, one hand comes off the bat, makes decent enough contact, out towards deep back with square leg. Out to the king of the sweep, Ben Duckett. He swept his way to 43 off 22 balls earlier. Pakistan with Rizwan and Babar to the fore, making good progress. You feel while they are there, they've definitely got a decent chance in this match. They're so dangerous, both of them. Babar 22, Rizwan 32. Babar on strike. There's a look over his left shoulder, see what's on the leg side boundary. Dawson bowls, and he helps it on his way out towards deep mid-wicket, finds the gap. That's 4 as well. Well, punishing over from Pakistan, last over of the power play, and Dawson's already gone for 13 from 5 balls, but he did have Rizwan dropped by Hales. One of those catches that should have been taken at long off. Hales, I think, just seemed to misjudge it, and in the end he was sort of taking it, sort of falling back a bit. His last ball of the over, forced away by Babar, straight to extra cover, and it's the lesser spotted dot ball in that over. Pakistan's power play is over. 59 for no wicket. England were 48 for 2. They lost their first wicket in the 6th over, and Pakistan should have done there. but they got away with it. I wonder how crucial that's going to be in the final result. 59 for no wicket after 6, 200 to win.
Affording to drop Mohammad Rizwan, the number 1 T20 batter in the world, in the 6th over of the game. It would have been a tough chance up into the night sky, and when that ball, the white ball, comes out of the black background, it does feel like there's a pea rocketing towards you. It can be hard to pick up, but Alex Hales, he'll be disappointed that he's dropped that. Liam Dawson will definitely be disappointed that he's dropped that. More to the point, England as a team could have done with breaking this partnership, because it's been a fantastic start for Pakistan. Rizwan has been the quicker of the two, but Babar is just settling himself in, catching up now. But they've got a platform, just the platform that they wanted and needed, and chasing a score of 199 now.
Yeah, they've done it again after good opening stand the other day on Tuesday. Put together 85 for the first wicket in 9.2 overs before the wicket fell in Tuesday's match. So now England can push the field back, and here is Adil Rashid, who Finney was saying this is a crucial impact on this game, one way or the other. Here is Rashid bowling to Rizwan. Oh, and he gets through first ball there. I think it might well have been a mis-stumping that. The bat's on the ground. He dropped the bat, Rizwan, in playing a drive, almost yorked himself, and it was not taken cleanly. I wonder whether Salt could have affected a stumping here. Well, I mean, a difficult stumping, but it was an opportunity. Although there's just a possibility of an inside edge actually from Rizwan, and it hits Salt before he even moves. I think there might have been an inside edge on that, but it wasn't a catch. It hit the ground. Here's Rashid bowling. It strikes Rizwan on the pad, and it just stayed down low. It looked quite a tempting ball, that short, going down the leg side. Rizwan tried to get a low pull out, but it couldn't hit it. And another dot ball, 2 dot balls to start Rashid's spell. And England need a wicket here, or a tidy over. Here is Rashid bowling to Rizwan, another beauty. And Rizwan, he just seems to know nothing about that at all. He groped at it. He might as well have been batting blindfold there. Missed it and through to the keeper. James Taylor's back alongside me.
Yeah, Adil Rashid showing his world-class skills and ability here. He's tried him 3 balls on the bounce now. First 2 out the front of the hand, and then that one just gripped a little bit. It was a leg spinner, and it's just turned enough. And actually really quick work from Phil Salt behind the stumps.
3 dot balls to start Rashid's spell. Goes in now to bowl to Rizwan. This is fascinating cricket. Rizwan gets one down the leg side, who helps it on its way. Just lost his line there, Rashid. This is going for 4. Just straying a fraction. It wasn't perfectly timed by Rizwan, but he got enough on it to help it round the corner. Fine leg up inside the circle. It went away to his right-hand side. And the first runs off Adil Rashid from a delivery that he'll think wasn't his best.
No, it definitely wasn't. Again, on that occasion, that's 3 out of the 4 that he's got out the front of the hands, just sliding on, but just too far down the leg side.
Rashid bowls. Another one-handed stroke from Rizwan. This is gone for 4 as well, I think. Yeah, diving attempt to save it is unsuccessful on the deep backward square leg boundary. It was very well swept.
Valiant attempt from Luke Wood on the boundary there, but again, Adil Rashid's just giving him the angle and the line to sweep and be able to get that ball to the leg side, and enough down the leg side that he could help it on its way and beat the deep square leg boundary. But Rizwan's got off to an absolute flyer, exactly what Pakistan needed.
He's 40 not out, 67 for no wicket. Rashid bowls to Rizwan. Another pull shot, another ball sort of angled down the leg side, and Luke Wood fields. It's only a single this time. So in the end, 9 off that Rashid over after he started it so well. When Rizwan started the over, you think, how is he going to survive to the end of it? Rashid was teasing him, going past the edge. He survived the first 3 balls and took 9 off the last 3. And Pakistan only 200 to win, are 68 for no wicket after 7 overs.
These players, there's a reason why Rizwan's the best in the world, and he's a quick learner. He obviously saw the first few balls from Rashid, and that's all he needed. He picked up the pace, and he picked him up quick enough out the front of the hand, and he realised what the delivery was coming down at him, and he picked the right ball to play the right shot, and he's done that on those 3 occasions. The last 3 deliveries, got 9 off them. Poor finish to Adil Rashid's over, but what a start from Pakistan. requiring 132 off 78 balls. It sounds a lot, but they've gone as well as they possibly could at the start of this innings, and they needed to have a good start and get as many as they could in this power play, because you'd imagine as the pace comes off the ball and the surface gets a little bit drier and the ball gets a little bit softer, it's going to turn more and be harder to score.
Right, Sam Curran is going to bowl his second over. His first over went for 9. He goes scurrying in to bowl to Rizwan. Rizwan plays it off his hip, backward a square on the onside for a single. Duckett runs in to pick up, so one more run to the total. 69 for no wicket. We've had 27.1 overs in this match, and we haven't had a catch taken yet. We had 2 drops, but no catches taken. It's very rare, I think, to get to this stage in a T20 and not a single catch has been taken.
Good spot that, Simon.
And all 5 of England's wickets were bowled, and we've had 2 drops. Kushdil, an absolute goober to reprieve Moeen Ali, which was costly. He was on 32 at the time, made 55. His Curran bowled, was driven back by Barber, stopped in his follow through by Curran, and there's no run. And Rizwan dropped on 23. He's now on 42. Hales and Kushdil Shah, the 2 offenders, but catches that, but both catches should have been taken, really. Or you as a bowler, you're desperate to have them, really.
Yeah, without doubt. Obviously, Shah's catch out on the boundary was about as easy as it gets for a boundary catch. Hale's not so much.
Curran bowls to Barber. Barber tries to force into the onside. Doesn't really time it. He was tucked up, but he might get 2 to the edge of the circle. He does. One of those really frustrating 2s for the bowler. You feel it shouldn't be a run at all, almost, because he didn't really time that, but they end up getting 2 just to rub it in. Short of the deep field. Barber spotted that very early. Rizwan responding up and down quickly. It was a slight fumble outside the circle, but I think they'd have got 2 in any case. 71 for no wicket. Pressure on England at the moment. Curran goes into bowl to Babar Azam, who's 28 not out. Crowd shouting his name, as you can hear. Curran bowls. Barber wristily off the back foot flicks that into the onside towards long on for a single. Turn comes in on the bounce. One more then. 72 for no wicket in this 8th over.
Yes, it's nice to comfortably cruise every game to victory, but these are the kind of moments that you want to see as coach or captain of the side. You want to see what your side's made of, especially when you're searching for that right 11 with a big tournament around the corner. You want to see what these guys have got up their sleeve when the pressure's on and they're up against it.
Pakistan going well. Rizwan on strike. It's a wide ball from Curran, which he chases. I think it was inside the wide line. It went underneath the bat. He's deceived there by a slower ball. And it's a dot ball. 72 for no wicket. 1 ball left of the 8th over. Curran actually has bowled quite a tidy over this one. What he wants to do now is finish it off and not get pumped for 4 or 6 off the last ball. It's only gone for 4 so far.
You've called it, Simon. Something's happening this ball. You've said that.
Let's see what Rizwan's got up his sleeve here. He waits for Curran. Curran bowls to him, and Rizwan, a low pull out towards deep back of square leg. A sliding stop on his knees by Duckett away to his right hand side. Prevents the boundary, and Rizwan rushes back for 2 runs. It's quite tough, isn't it, being wicket-keeper and then going out to open the batting, which is what Salt had the other day. Rizwan, I suppose, is pretty used to it now. Short form, warm evening though. 27 degrees now in Karachi and 75% humidity. 74 for no wicket, Pakistan, after 8 overs. At the same stage, England were 62 for 2.
Yeah, it's incredibly humid out there as well. You've got to be very fit, agile and athletic if you're going to be behind the stumps for 20 overs and then go straight out to bat, and especially the amount of time Rizwan's been spending at the crease recently, albeit only 20 overs, and hopefully you're not doing as much running when you're whacking the ball out of the park. It's still tough work.
Barber on strike. Rashid bowls to him. A leg break, which Barber goes back to and cracks into the offside for 4. He's hit that through extra cover. Some slow turn for Rashid, but covered by Babar Azam. And England had the man a bit square and hit that through extra cover off the back foot. Rashid suffering a bit here.
Yeah, that's a serious shot. He's picked up the length so quickly because it wasn't that short, but just a little bit of width and enough width to beat that man at deep cover.
Rashid goes in again, bowls to Barber, comes down the pitch and clip drives that into the onside up towards Brook at long on for a single. 79 for no wicket, Pakistan. At 8.2 overs. They need 200 in all to win the game. So it's starting to look very manageable for them. They have to go full throttle. It has the feeling of a last over finish about it. We'll see. Here is Rashid bowling at low full toss outside the off stump, guided away on the sweep by Rizwan, dragging it almost. Rizwan gets through for a single to take him to 45, and Pakistan to 80 for no wicket. We do know that how quickly a game can turn around if you pick up a couple of wickets, get a couple of new batters out there. Such a dangerous opening partnership between these two. Now Rashid to Barber. Barber threads that into a small gap on the offside, just to the left of Moeen Ali at extra cover for a single.
Yeah, and they've turned to their man, Adil Rashid. Obviously he's had a quiet start in this game for him, but if there's one man in the world England would turn to in this moment, it's probably Adil Rashid. Exceptional record in this format.
Rashid bowls to Rizwan. Rizwan plays wristily into the onside towards long on for another run, 82 for no wicket. Coming to the end of the 9th over. There is Moeen Ali, of course, but what Pakistan do have is a few left-handers lower down the order, so perhaps he's just holding himself back a bit. Shah Masood's a left-hander, Kushta's a left-hander, Nawaz is a left-hander. All the right-handers are at the top of the order. Rashid bowls to Barber. Barber squeezes that into the offside, goes for a quick run, sharp the stumps to the non-striker's end, misses. It's backed up in the deep, and they're through for a single. So Rashid's bowled 2 overs for 18. You almost feel here for England he needs to end up with something like 2 for 31 from his 4 overs to sort of get them back in the game here. 83 for no wicket after 9. England feel they need a wicket. Yes. Rizwan's 46, Barber's 36.
Indeed, it needed a little bit of magic, almost what Rashid did to Babar Azam last game, the first game of the series. He did it with a big spinning googly through the gate, and Babar didn't pick him, but so far today Babar Azam has picked him beautifully. This is an excellent start, 83 off 9 overs, and England desperately need a wicket.
Yeah, Dawson is going to bowl. Well, their stand the other day was 85. They were 85 for no wicket off 9.2, so they're almost in identical position they were in the other evening. Here's Dawson bowling to Barber. Barber's forward, playing that towards extra cover, and there's no run. So it's identical, and we know what happened the other evening. I mean, history doesn't always repeat itself, and we're hoping it does.
I think this is probably a fraction better surface.
Pakistan slipped away to 158 for 7. Barber waits, Dawson bowls, flipped into the onside, out towards long on, through for a single. So 85 for no wicket after 9.2 the other evening, 84 for no wicket after 9.2 this evening, and this ball is when the wicket fell.
Here we go.
History's going to repeat itself.
You'd like that, wouldn't you, Simon?
Well, I don't mind what happens. Let's see. It's one of those sort of intriguing things that happens in cricket. Here is Dawson bowling to Rizwan, and Rizwan goes back, just gets the bat down in time on that one. He nearly got through LBW there, Dawson, but Rizwan again wristily clipping that into the onside. So the stand is worth 85 again. And this is where it was snuffed out the other evening. But they're two high-class players, these, and you know, chase a 200 looks daunting, but if these two get going, Dawson bowls outside the off stump, clubbed away, stopped by Moeen Ali at extra cover. It wasn't a great delivery from Dawson. It was hit really hard by Barber, but tidy piece of fielding from Moeen Ali, probably prevented 4 there. Although that's why he's there, you could argue, at extra cover. Dawson to Barber. Barber back cuts towards square cover or deep backward point. Only a single. 86 for no wicket. Coming to the end of the 10th over. After 10 overs, England were 80 for 2. So I mean, the game is so even, isn't it? Pakistan have got
and England accelerated really well in the back half.
Mind you, Pakistan might as well.
Yeah, every chance.
Dawson to complete the over. To bowl to Rizwan, who's on 47. Dawson bowls him outside the off stump. Miscued drag into the onside, in the air through vacant mid-on area. It's a single, and there we go. We've had the 10 overs. So 80 for 2, plays 87 for no wicket. Rizwan 48. Barber is 38. We've got a good game building up here, it feels like, at this stage anyway. Second of 7 T20 matches. England winning the first game on Tuesday, and Pakistan looking to win on the chase this evening, as England did quite comfortably on Tuesday at the National Stadium in Karachi. So drinks are coming on to the field. The floodlights beaming down. The crowd are metaphorically licking their lips in anticipation of what Barber and Rizwan have got in store in the last 10 overs. And Pakistan need 113 to win off the last 10. More from you then, James Taylor, and then Atif Nawaz will take you through the next stretch of this match.
Yeah, Pakistan have had an excellent start, and these two so often do. They're so consistent, and that's why they're number 1 and number 2 in the world. Very consistent performers and world-class operators. But having said that, Pakistan still need 113 off 60 balls, which is a tall ask. These guys know the conditions so well, and I reckon the trump cards for England right now, even though Adil Rashid hasn't had the best start, Adil Rashid, Liam Dawson, these are two vital bowlers for England this evening, taking the pace off the ball, and that's what probably Pakistan didn't do so well with both their seamers and their spinners. Didn't take the pace off the ball so well, and probably bowled a fraction full at times. So England would have learned a lot from watching Pakistan bowl.
Yeah, they will indeed. Saw Ben Duckett in the mid-innings interval talking about what they expected their bowlers to do, or what they expected was the right approach on this surface as well. But so far it's been Pakistan just keeping up with this rate. It is quite ominous because, as we say, they've done it before. Pakistan, these two opening batters in particular, have been very, very effective at the top of the order. It's just, from an England perspective, you get through one of them, you get into that shaky middle order, and then it's anybody's game.
Yeah, I mean, Barber is obviously a world-class operator, phenomenal in all three formats, but 38 off 31, this is probably where he has to really kick on. Else, there might be some negative comments, and there has been in the past at times of him going a little bit too conservative, and this is where he'll get himself in trouble if he doesn't kick on and get a big score. Obviously 31, he balls his face. Rizwan at the other end, 48 off 29. He's now had an absolute worldie so far, and he's such a dynamic operator. Rizwan scores all around the crease, so busy, and also has got that power. But having said that, they've got the platform, and they've still got some firepower to come, and great opportunities for those guys that might not have done so well over the last year or so for Pakistan. They've got those guys to come, and they've got a real opportunity to win this and not lose 4 on the bounce. They've already lost 3 on the bounce now, this Pakistan team. They've only lost 4 in a row once in the last, I think, 12 years since 2010.
Back in 2010, that was the last time it happened, 4 in a row for Pakistan. And again, it was the same two teams. It was Sri Lanka and England who inflicted those defeats on them. Well, I like this from Moeen Ali. He's thrown the ball to the young fast bowler. Luke Wood is going to come in and replace Adil Rashid. His first over went for 7. And he's now going to bowl to Mohammad Rizwan. In comes Luke Wood. Rizwan driving. Timing very well. It's going out towards mid-wicket. They're going to try and come back for a second, and they will make it with relative ease, which takes Mohammad Rizwan to yet another half-century. 50 off 30 balls, consecutive 50s against England in this series. He doesn't celebrate those 50s. Stephen Finn pointed out he just shows both his palms to his teammates and looks up to the heavens. Another 50 for Mohammad Rizwan. He collects them like some people collect like football cards.
Yeah, football stickers at the minute.
Yeah, that's the one.
Exciting operator and classy operator as well. Makes it look so easy.
Rizwan on strike. In comes Wood, back of a length, guided by Rizwan. Can't beat the fielder at backward point.
Yeah, I like this move though from Moeen Ali, changing the pace, bringing Luke Wood, probably his fastest bowler in his side, and changing the pace. He's got all the men on the leg side out, he's got a deep cover out, and then the rest, third man, point, extra and mid-off inside the ring. You'd imagine he'd take the pace off the ball and bowl it into the surface as well. Probably what Pakistan could have done better in their bowling innings.
In comes Luke Wood to Babar Azam now, who smashed this ball down the ground and over the long on boundary for 6. Babar Azam putting his foot on the accelerator now. He's not too far behind Rizwan. He's on 44 off 32. Promising signs for the hosts. 96 for no loss off 10.3.
Yeah, really good signs for Pakistan. These two doing what they do best, and that's batting out in the middle. So consistent, got so many options, and they complement each other so well. That's an excellent and easy stroke from Babar Azam, straight down the ground, back over Luke Wood's head. Excellent strike.
It really was. So in comes Luke Wood again, and that time beating the outside edge as Rizwan, I beg your pardon, Barber looking to guide it to deep third. Not making any contact, just silenced the crowd there momentarily, did Luke Wood.
Yeah.
And the crowd are mimicking Barber's facial expressions. So Barber's kind of pursing his lips and inhaling breath, and the whole crowd is sort of mimicking that motion by going, ooh, which is quite amusing.
Yeah, the shot was on though, because they got that third man and point inside the ring, and it just a little bit of width offered on that occasion, but fortunately for Luke Wood's sake, Babar Azam just missed it.
Barber on strike, in comes Luke Wood, worked away towards mid-wicket. They'll take one, perhaps get back for the second. Harry Brook had to run round that ball just to get on his arm, and they managed to get through for two. Pakistan 98 for no loss, one ball to come in the 11th over. 102 needed off 55. Rizwan's already gone to 50, his 18th 50 in T20 international cricket from his 64th match. It's a pretty good 50 scoring rate.
Yes, especially when the nature of the game, you take risks, you're trying to force the issue constantly. Like we've said it so many times, how consistent these guys are. It's incredibly impressive.
Babar Azam on strike, in comes Luke Wood. Bazam on the pull, he's pulled it out towards mid-wicket, picks out the fielder in the deep. David Willey with the throw, so it'll just be a single to close out that over. Luke Wood going for 12 in that over. Pakistan 99 for no loss after 11. Just keeping themselves in the hunt. 101 needed from 54. It is a good surface. They've still got 10 wickets in hand.
Yeah.
Still think you'd still back England though, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
The one wicket changes everything.
Exactly. 1 or 2 wickets. I mean, they still need over 11 runs and over. And yeah, a couple of wickets. Adil Rashid, Moeen Ali and Liam Dawson, still plenty of overs from those spinners, and with the batsmen to come, 1 wicket might bring in left-handers. The matchups are so important. We always talk about matchups in T20 cricket, and Moeen Ali to those left-handers would be so important. But excellent start from Pakistan, got the wickets in the hutch, and that's vital for Pakistan.
The ball turns sharply away from Babar, from Liam Dawson. He swings and misses, it goes through to the keeper. And again, more ooze from the crowd. I thought they might be saying boo for a second, but I think they're getting into the pantomime of cricket sometimes.
Okay. I think they're just spurring the fact that he didn't have a boundary for once.
Dawson into Babar, who's flicked that away towards the leg side. It'll just be the single. David Willey quickly, rapidly approaching that ball, getting the throw back in. But then with that single, the 100 comes up for Pakistan. They're halfway there. 100 for no loss from 11.2 overs. 68 deliveries, 69 including the wide for the partnership. We keep saying it, these two batters are the key to success for Pakistan.
Here it comes,
Rizwan.
Here comes a sweep. Catch it well.
You can hear Phil Salt yelling, here comes the sweep. Will it come? And he comes to Rizwan. That ball's been worked out towards mid-wicket. Just a single, not a sweep shot that time. As a keeper, what do you do? Do you double down at that point? Or do you,
Yeah.
The next one's definitely
just
a
wait
sweep.
for him to play, keep going. But I'm just thinking, what's that? 100 off 11 overs, 100 off 70 balls. I think if I was in the batting hutch, I'd want more. I'd want that required rate down. It's over 11 and a half.
Dawson into Babar, who's worked that away down to long on. It'll just be the single to Brook.
Yeah, given they haven't lost a wicket, I want that run rate. You haven't lost a wicket, you've just had 100 of partnership, and the required rate is at 11.64. You'd be a little bit disappointed. You want that rate down. I know you're still chasing 200, but you need to be bringing that required rate down as much as you possibly can.
Dawson to Rizwan. He's quick and fast. Saw Rizwan moving across the stumps there and just digging out the ball. Dawson himself fields on about the 4th strip towards the leg side. And another single to the score. 103 for no loss after 11.5.
Because even with a single, it wasn't a dot ball, it's nearly at 12 and over now. And it just shows how quickly this run rate is going to go up if you don't get more than a single. You need to be hitting boundaries now at this stage. 100 partnership on the board, plenty of wickets in the hutch.
Dawson into Babar Azam, who works that away towards mid-wicket. And that cheer of the crowd tells you that he's reached his half-century. Well, they say he's been out of touch recently. It just means in his last 7 games he's not been able to get a 50 score. He's broken that run now and reached his 27th international T20 half century in his 82nd match. He's got 100 in his record as well. Pakistan captain breathing a sigh of relief. They hold him to much higher standards than the average batter.
Yeah.
But he is looking like he's getting back to his old self. By old self, I mean 7 matches ago.
He's a classy operator. Another 50, so consistent. Number 2 in the world, striking at 128 runs per 100 balls. Decent effort, but his side need him to kick on for sure. Now this partnership has been outstanding, but they need to bring this rate down, up at 12 runs and over. But what an outstanding 4 overs from Liam Dawson. 4 overs for 26. In the context of the game so far, excellent effort from him.
And without a doubt, Moeen Ali now. He's been waiting for one of the left-handers to get in. They haven't come in. Now he's going to have to bowl at the right-handers. Babar on strike. In comes Moeen Ali. Back of a leg. Babar pulls high and over the mid-wicket boundary for 6. This was the danger. The matchup doesn't suit England here. Babar Azam, having reached his 50, is now accelerating. 110 for no loss Pakistan of 12.1 overs.
Yeah, that's exactly right. It's a lovely shot. It's a little bit short, and it's just pulled away over deep mid-wicket, but it's not the matchup. It's not the matchup that England want, nor Moeen Ali. He was waiting as long as he could till a left-hander came in, but he just couldn't wait any longer. That's why he had to bring himself on now.
Under pressure now, Moeen. Lots of flight on this one, and dip as well. Babar just digging it out, down to long on. Take a single. A little moral victory there maybe for Moeen Ali.
Yeah, he's a very canny operator, is Moeen. He obviously thinks like a batsman because he is one, and he's got lots of options to go to. I think the previous ball, he assumed that Babar was going to come at him. That's why he dragged it a little bit shorter.
Moeen Ali into Rizwan, who plays a sweep shot, picks out the fielder on the edge of the circle, and fine leg. Throw comes in as well, but Rizwan's home. They're off Nelson. 112 for no loss.
Yeah, it's an excellent bit of fielding actually from Sam Cohen. I reckon a direct hit would have seen Rizwan back to the pavilion. Unfortunately, Moeen just couldn't quite grab it cleanly.
Now then, Babar Azam on strike. Moeen Ali in. Babar Azam with a big swing and over the long on boundary for 6. Babar is starting to line up the England captain, picking him off with the same ease that, well, Moeen was picking off the Pakistani bowlers a little bit earlier. 118 for no loss of 12.4 overs.
Yeah, Babar Azam, he's bided his time, waited long enough, and he's been patient, and he's got his rewards here. The right man's come on for him to go downtown and go big. There's 2 sixes in this over already, and he's picked the right balls and executed the shot perfectly.
Moeen into Babar again with a full quicker delivery. It's been worked away towards mid-wicket. Well held by David Willey in the deep. It's just a single. Pakistan just pulling that asking rate back a bit with this over. Babar Azam, you can see, just growing in confidence. Dangerous player. One of the very best in the world in all formats. It's Rizwan on strike now, and he's gone after Moeen Ali now. That's gone huge into the leg side. That's a 6. A very expensive over from England's captain. 21 runs off it. Pakistan marching on in Karachi. 125 for no loss after 13 overs.
That's exactly what Pakistan needed. They needed a massive over, and Moeen Ali, like I said, they bided their time and waited for a bowler to go downtown on, and they've done exactly that. Moeen Ali's been taken for 21 off that over. 3 big maximums from both Babar and Rizwan has brought that required rate right down, nearly 11 and over. It was up as over 12s, brought it back down to 11 and over. Excellent ball striking from these two, and there's a reason why they're number 1 and 2 in the world. They're very intelligent batters, and they picked the right men to go up against as well. The matchups, and this matchup suited them. Certainly didn't suit Moeen Ali and England. Moeen Ali was waiting for that wicket and waiting for a left-hander to come in because that suits him. And on this occasion, it suited Pakistan.
Yeah, and he even bowled out Dawson, who, to his credit, bowled 4 excellent overs. An excellent return for him, just over 6 and over from his 4. But now It's very hard to see England's route back into this game. 75 needed from 42, which, considering the circumstances, with 10 wickets in hand, a good batting track, can make Pakistan heavy favourites here. Can England find a twist here? Sam Curran back into the attack, and he comes to Babar Azam, back of a length, pulled down the ground by Babar Azam. There is a long on in place. Harry Brook has the throw back in, so it'll just be a single. Sam Curran, in recent years, has plenty of experience bowling in tough circumstances, whether it's for the Chennai Super Kings over in the IPL or here in England, constantly throwing the ball in pressure situations by captains.
Yeah, 100%. Outstanding talent and a super competitor as well. Finds a way to get the job done.
And he comes to Rizwan, who's swept at that, not timed it. Just rolls out towards square leg. Adil Rashid will field. It's just a single. The Karachi crowd. I think you're right, actually, James. I think they're just booing the singles.
Yeah, and they're especially when somebody looks to go big, and as they have on a couple of occasions, it hasn't quite come off. I'm just watching Sam Curran. I love him as a competitor, as an operator. What he lacks in pace or height and skill level, he makes up in competitiveness. He's a great operator and somebody you want in your side because he can impact the game at any one moment.
In comes Curran now to Babar Azam, who swung at that down the ground, on the bounce to long on. I thought it might have carried to him for a split second, but Harry Brook very, very deep on that boundary. So just a single to the score. 72 needed off 39. Some people calming their nerves out in the National Stadium, Karachi, with a couple of cups of tea. It feels like a missed opportunity here in England. I feel like we should have a few tea stands lying around. Indeed. Maybe for next year's Blast. We'll talk to the marketing team, talk to some tea companies, get a few stands out there.
Get on it.
Sam Curran into Mohammad Rizwan. This is full. Dug out by Rizwan. He's running the first one very quickly, and he's going to get back for two. David Willey very, very deep on the mid-wicket boundary. It's good game awareness from these Pakistani batters. Managed to get back for two. We've seen some terrific shots from Babar Azam, particularly in that over from Moeen Ali. Really started to let himself go. And I mean that in a good way, not in the way that I let myself go sometimes. Rizwan on strike. Pakistan 130 for no loss. In comes Sam Curran, under edge from Rizwan, on the bounce, and athletically fielded by Phil Salt. It looks like he's wicket keeping at the fourth pitch at the moment. But this has been a good over from Sam Curran, keeping it to single digits.
Yeah, really good over. He's mixing it up. He's mixing his lines and his lengths and his variations. That was just an off-cutter. He's bowled a couple of Yorkers, albeit it cost him a couple of runs. Very smart batting. I realised that man out on the deep mid-wicket boundary was right on the rope because of the big hits previously. Just nudged it in the leg side for a couple.
69 needed off 37. In comes Curran to Babar, who's flicked this away to the fine leg boundary for four. It flew off the face of his bat, all the way along the ground. More joy spreading across the National Stadium in Karachi. Pakistan 135 for no loss off 14 overs. They need 65 from 36 to win this game. Right now, they're looking good to do it.
Yeah, that's what good players do. When they need a boundary, they find a way to get one. And on that occasion, it wasn't the best ball, admittedly, from Sam Curran, but just the time and form is with Babar on this occasion. It's just helped it on its way and beat that deep square leg boundary comfortably. Pakistan are cruising at the minute. Still, admittedly, over 10 runs and over, but with the wickets in the shed, they should get home.
Indeed. Thank you so much, James Taylor, for your thoughts. We'll look forward to having a chat with you in the post-match. Now Stephen Finn's going to come back in alongside me here on commentary as Adil Rashid returns to bowl his third over. Lots of flight on this, and it's been smashed over mid-wicket. Oh goodness, that's gone a long way. It's the longest part of the ground, and Rizwan has cleared it with ease. Pakistan on the charge here, 141 for no loss after 14.1 overs. Welcome back, Stephen Finn.
Yes, haven't things changed a lot since I was last on here 7 or 8 overs ago, where you would anticipate England would take wickets. They haven't, and Pakistan have expertly been biding their time for bad balls to hit for 4 and 6.
Rashid then with a quicker ball, kept it a bit flatter, driven out towards mid-wicket for a single. Mohammad Rizwan on 71 of 40 deliveries, Barber on 70 of 46. And we've talked about the critique of these two batters in Pakistan in general, of being conservative up top, but they've shown that it can be tactically very astute sometimes. In comes Rashid again. This is short, big swing from Barber. Uncharacteristically sort of ugly hoik there, really. He misses the ball outside off as it goes through to the keeper. There is no run.
He got bowled by Googly in the previous game, didn't he? And there, Googly again just cramps him for room. Barber looking to open up the offside, purses his lips, looking back at Adil Rashid after he misses the ball.
Adil Rashid into Barber. It's straighter this time. Barber punches that out towards mid-wicket. It's the wrong side of Harry Brooks, so again they're able to get back for 2. Great call and good running from Mohammad Rizwan. He had to go to the danger end, committed to it very, very quickly. It's hard out there for the fielders. They've got big pockets to cover on that longer boundary side. Slightly lopsided because of the pitches there. It's all four of the first matches all taking place at the National Stadium, Karachi. It doesn't give the ground staff too much to work with. The one side does end up becoming shorter than the other. Adil Rashid into Babar Azam. Lots of flight. Babar Azam has smashed it high and over the square leg boundary for 6. Well, that is an emphatic way to bring up the 150. It's the 150 partnership. It's the 150 total. And they're now going at over 10 runs and over, Pakistan. Bang on target. 150 for no loss of 14.5 overs.
Sees the flight from Adil Rashid. Attempted googly. It's on leg stump. Bubba picks this one. Lifts it up and over deep square leg, or splits the gap between deep square leg and deep mid-wicket for 6. Adil Rashid can't believe it. Pakistani fans can, though. They've been outstanding here.
Adil Rashid into Babar Azam. Lots of flight. Babar drives. It'll just be a single to Moeen Ali. He's positioned at extra cover. Well, Pakistan have turned this game around. I don't think many people back them to do this, but they're in cruise control here now. 49 needed off 30 to win the game. Pakistan yet to lose a wicket. 151 for no loss after 15. How impressive has this batting performance been, Stephen Finn? Give us your thoughts, and then to take you through to the end of the game, it'll be Simon Mann.
Yeah, it's amazing. Just every time that you feel like they might be getting slightly behind the rate, they pull out a flurry of 4s and 6s to just haul themselves back up with it. And the fact that they've lost no wickets up to this stage should mean that they have the freedom to keep going as hard as they have been recently. It's been an outstandingly paced chase so far, but a couple of wickets does change it for the English bowling attack, which they desperately need now.
I've just checked. England have never lost a T20 international by 10 wickets.
Oh.
They've won a couple. I was there actually when they won one in Wellington, when Michael Lum hit one onto the roof.
Yeah, that was off Ian
Were you
Butler.
there?
Yeah, I played in that game. Yeah, Ian Butler for an absolute monster of a 6 into the case.
Massive blow. Yeah. 151 for no wicket, Pakistan, out of 15 overs. The last team to win a T20 international by 10 wickets was Tanzania.
Okay.
Beat Cameroon.
Nice. What were the scores?
I don't have that, but it wasn't very long ago. It was on the 17th of September, so fairly recently. And Norway beat Estonia in the previous game
They're
by 10
renowned
wickets.
for their death bowling, actually, Estonia.
Well, anyway, so that's, there's a lot of different teams who play T20 international cricket, and it's not that frequent a result. Going back to 2007 was the first time it happened. Right, England under pressure here, obviously. 49 to win. It's still not a done deal yet, but it feels as if it will be. Rizwan and Babar Azam, they are so dangerous at the top of the order for Pakistan. Top class players, especially in this format. And England managed to snuff the partnership out the other day at 85, but have not been able to do it today. They had the opportunity. Rizwan dropped by Hales, and he'd made 23. Deepish mid-off. And Rizwan is now 71 from 40 balls. Babar Azam 79 from 50 balls. And the spectators who've turned up tonight, I mean, this is exactly what they were hoping for, really. this sort of chase from a Pakistan side. Right, let's see if they can finish it off. Here's Wood into ball to Barber. It's a wide, right across him, outside the line. Or is it? Yes, it is. Yep, it has been given.
If you hadn't given that.
It was always rewriting the rules of T20 if he hadn't given that.
He may have just been delaying his check to see if it landed off the cut strip, because then that's a no ball, isn't it?
Umpire Rashid Riaz with the signal eventually. 152 for no wicket. 200 to win, so 48 to win from 30 balls. 10 wickets in hand. Here's Wood bowling outside the off stump. Crashed away by Barber. Tempted save by Curran on the deep point boundary is unsuccessful. It's gone away for 4. Not only are the boundaries quite small, but the outfield is quick as well. And Curran scooted around, could not stop it. And Wood has been pummeled through the offside. Again, it was quite short and wide, and Barber's got his eye in and hit it through backward point, and it's gone away to the boundary. And Pakistan are romping to victory here with these two scintillating players at the top of the order. 44 to win from 29 balls. And in T20 terms, that's just a knock-off, isn't it, really? You've got 10 wickets in hand. We'll see what happens. We've seen a few games that have turned round unexpectedly. You're going to need a bit of a miracle here to make it happen. Here's Wood bowling outside the off stump. There's a attempted force by Barber. Misses it. It's a dot ball through to Phil Salt. And the other thing to say as well, we've had 35.2 overs and still not a single catch in the match. I bet you haven't played in a single T20 match where there's not been a catch.
No, I can't think. Think of. It's not something that I would necessarily log or register when I've done it, seeing as I've played a fair few. But no, it does seem a strange thing for there to have been no catches. We did have the opportunity for one, though, didn't we?
We've had 2 opportunities, yeah.
Yes, 2, sorry. 2 absolute dollies, to be fair.
Wood bowls to Barber. He's 83 not out. It's full. It's turned into the onside. He's looking for 2 outside the circle, out towards a wide long on. He's picked the gap nicely there. They're back for 2. Hit it between 2 fielders in the deep. 158 for no wicket. And Rizwan there, he's banging his hamstrings, I think, because he's had to do a lot of work tonight, up and down as a wicket-keeper and then up and down as a batter. And they've run well as well. They've been back for a few 2s.
Do you think that's been a difference from the other evening, where they've had a great partnership together, and Pakistan in general, across the game, I think they're running.
Here's Wood bowling to Barber, played into the onside, out towards deep mid-wicket again. And this time, they are not running, they are walking. They're walking for the single. Barber goes to 86, the score to 159 for no wicket in the 16th over. It's 41 to win from 26 balls, all 10 wickets in hand. England just in a situation here where they just need 2 wickets and 4 runs off and over, something like that, just to put some pressure on, find some pressure. At the moment, it doesn't feel as though there is much there, to be honest. Here is Wood bowling, full dugout into the offside. And they're through for a single. 40 to win from 25 balls. Single there to Rizwan, 160 for no wicket. Coming to the end of the 16th over. Slightly different evening for Luke Wood tonight than the other evening when he made his debut. 3 for 24. He's gone for 28 from 2.5. Here is Wood bowling. Slapped away by Barber out towards wide long on. That's gone for 4. Nothing Harry Brook could do there to get round from long on. Barber is into the 90s. 90 from 55 balls. It's 164 for no wicket. There are 4 overs left and Pakistan need 36 to win.
They really are majestic players, aren't they? But don't possess necessarily the power that you would imagine you need to open the batting in T20 cricket, but their way that they manipulate the field and find the gaps, and then when they get the bad ball to hit for 6, they do it. It's outstanding. They're not really giving England a sniff here. One chance early in the innings that Rizwan offered up to Alex Hales was dropped. And since then it's been exemplary batting from this pair, and showing why they're numbers 1 and 2 in the world in this format of cricket.
Yeah, it's been brilliant. Wonderful batting from Rizwan and Babar Azam. We know how dangerous they are. We've seen it in the past, and tonight they have produced something special. And it's David Willey's turn now to face the onslaught. 36 needed from the last 4 overs. And at the halfway stage, I mean, Ben Duckett said in his mid-innings interview, he said, we thought, about 160, 170 was par, and England scored 199, but Pakistan are knocking them off. Here is Willie jogging in to bowl to Rizwan. It's a low full toss, which is wristily played towards deep backwards square leg. Luke Wood is there. It's a single. As the throw comes in rather awkwardly to Phil Salt, just on the half volley. England making 199 for 5, and Moeen Ali finished it off nicely with a couple of sixes in the last 2 balls. 55 not out. Felt as if they were in the ascendancy, but Pakistan always in the game with these two. Babar is 90 not out. Rizwan 73. Willie goes in, bowls to Babar. It's full. It's driven with plenty of bottom hand out towards long on. Brook is there, giving it the long barrier, and they're through for another run. 166 for no wicket. 16.2 overs. It's one of my favourite televisual events of the year is on screen at the moment, which is the man rowing and trying to pretend he's making the big laundrette tumbler go round. It's a clever bit of product placement, I think. Sort of advertising, clever bit of advertising. Here's Willie bowling, taken from outside the off stump by Rizwan out towards deep back with square leg. They're looking for 2. Wood's coming in, trying to keep it down to a single. It throws a bit wide, and they are back for the second. And I think why it's so good as well is it's so novel, and so it gets people talking, which is what you want as an advert, isn't it? I'm not going to give
If only we were allowed to name it.
Name the advert. Yeah, it's presumably a Pakistan washing machine company. But he's someone doing some rowing. It looks as if it's making the tumbler go round, but the other evening he wasn't there and the tumbler was still going round, which rather sort of rumbled them.
Oh, it's stopped now. There's no one on it though.
Perhaps they said, perhaps they could quickly stop it. Here's a low full toss from Willie, driven out towards long on, and it's picked up by Brook. I mean, it feels a bit cynical in a way. You have these sort of tea stands and things like that. It's all about advertising. But I suppose the game's got to make money, hasn't it? And Pakistan cricket, they've got to make money. They've not had any home internationals, or very few home internationals, for so many years. You do have to make hay while the floodlights are on.
Absolutely. If I hadn't watched a game of international cricket for that long, I'd be quite willing to row a washing machine around the ground just to make sure I got a front row seat.
Willie to Babar. Babar hits this away out towards the deep mid-wicket boundary corner. It's palmed over the bar by Curran. It's gone for 6. Well, best efforts from Sam Curran, but he was running back, falling back, and he got one hand to it. It went over the rope, and there's another 6. And Babar goes to 97. It's 175 for no wicket. Low full toss, pumped away, and Curran could not stop it.
He's got a decent hand on that, Sam Curran, leaping over his head, one-handed, and gets a decent palm on it, but Babar Azam just gets enough on it to take it those extra inches that only hit Sam Curran's fingertips, and he tips it over the bar.
Babar Azam, 97 not out. Willie bowls to him, flicked away towards deep mid-wicket. Curran's onto it, and they were thinking of a second there, and he was sent back. Babar was sent back by Rizwan, and just as well, because there would have been a run out by about 3/4 the length of the pitch if they come back for the second run. So Babar Azam goes to 98. I'm just looking at T20 international hundreds for Babar Azam, and he's made 1, so he's on the verge of his second. He's made a whole heap of half centuries. He's made 26 of them. But he's on the verge of his second T20 international centuries. 98 not out, and the score is 176 for no wicket, and Pakistan need 24 to win from the last 3 overs with 10 wickets in hand. And they'd probably knock them off if they had 2 overs in hand. They've got 3.
Feels that way, doesn't it? But interesting to see what Moeen Ali does here, whether he goes for the spin. I think Adil Rashid has an over left to bowl, whether he just throws caution to the wind and says lob them up, and see if we can get them to hit one straight up in the air, and then you reduce the equation and put pressure on the new batter. From afar it doesn't look as though we're going to get that Sam Curran, who takes the ball here in the 18th over.
Curran to bowl with Babar Azam, 98 not out. Moves in now, bowls to Babar outside the off stump. Slower ball, taking pace off. Babar goes to the cut shot, misses. It goes scuttling through on the second bounce to wicketkeeper Phil Salt. 176 for no wicket. Babar close to a 60 ball 100. Rizwan, they actually started off quicker, and Babar's gone past him. Although he has had more of the strikes, had 15 more balls. Babar has a look over his left shoulder. Curran moves in to bowl to him. He's with him now, and Babar tries to hoik this into the leg side. Another slower ball, and he misses that, and that's through to Salt as well. Another dot ball, so 2 dot balls to start the 18th over. And it's 176 for no wicket, and taking pace off.
And into the pitch. I think a lot of the time today, when the ball has been floated up there, even if it's a slower ball, the batters have time to adjust their swing. If it's into the pitch, it gives it that chance to deviate and have the awkwardness of bounce, which those have done. They've both beaten Babar Azam on the under edge.
Curran tries again, bowls to Babar on 98. Babar drives up towards straight long off. He's off for one. He's going to come back for the second. Hales gets the ball away quickly to Curran at the non-striker's end, and Babar is restricted to a single. He's on 99, and Pakistan to 177 for no wicket. They are close to inflicting England's first ever 10-wicket defeat in T20 internationals. 23 more required. Curran will hope Rizwan here will knock one up in the air. Rizwan is 76 not out. 2 batsmen have had a quick chat in the middle of the pitch. And Curran here in his final over. He's gone for 26 tonight with 3 balls left. Rizwan settles, has a look round the field, and then Curran moves in to bowl to him. He's with him now, and Rizwan plays this extraordinary shot where he goes down on one knee and tries to help it into the leg side. Does get enough bat on it, gets the single. Rizwan to 77, and the score to 178 for no wicket. Well, 2 wickets and 2 balls would be quite useful here from Sam Curran.
They would, but it's been an excellent over so far. 2 runs, 2 dot balls, 2 deliveries to go. He's going to have to finish it off here, but keeps this equation to 20 off 12, England will be very pleased.
Yeah, I wonder if Babar just be looking for a single here as well, because he's on 99. Or whether he'll try and beast one out of the ground. Curran bowls to him, dabbed away. No chance of beasting it out of the ground. Dabs it for a single. He's made a brilliant 100, leaps in the air, punches the air, and the crowd salute. Fine innings from Babar Azam. 62 ball 100, his second in T20 internationals. Taken Pakistan to the verge of victory. It's a sweaty hug from Mohammad Rizwan, and then lifts his arms in the air to acknowledge the crowd. Wonderful innings. 5 sixes, 9 fours, 100 not out.
After a sticky start, didn't really get going, but he got into his stride quickly. Smashed the bowling of Moeen Ali, which really got him off and going. Propelled him towards the 100, and his team on the verge of victory.
Curran bowls the last ball of the over to Rizwan, who slaps it into the leg side. Should only be 1. It's picked up by Willie. So that was a very good over from Sam Curran, just to restrict Pakistan. I made it 4 runs off the over, so it's now 20 to win off 2. James Taylor's giving me a knowing look and rubbing his hands together. surely with, I mean, about 18 overs, they've got 180 for no wickets. Surely they're going to win the game from here.
Logic says yes. Cricket says no.
It's a mad game.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. You put 1 wicket into this, and the new batter faces 8 out of the 12 balls that are remaining, or 8 out of the 11 that are remaining. It makes it look a very, very different proposition. But as always, these next 3 or 4 deliveries are going to be imperative in deciding the fate of the rest of this game, I think.
Well, teams have definitely not got 20 off the last 2 overs in T20 matches to win. You know, that must have happened many times, not to get 20 off the last 2. You hope to, wouldn't you? I mean, get these days 10 and over
wickets in hand
with 10 wickets in hand. It'd be amazing if they finished on 198 for no wicket.
Pakistani press might have a field day tomorrow.
I mean, that would be It's absolutely stunning if something like that happened. But you suspect that if they don't get there, there's going to be a wicket or two. It's going to have to be, isn't there? So here is Luke Wood bowling, and it's driven into the onside up towards long on. Picks out Brook. It's only a single. 19 to win off 11 balls. James is getting even more excited. Until Rizwan puts the next two in the crowd. 181 for no wicket. Well, it's been a very watchable, interesting game. And you don't see many games like this where we have no catches and a team might win by 10 wickets, but the game's still in the...
They might also lose.
They might also lose. Babar Azam waits. Luke Wood bowls to him. It's full. Good foolish length driven into the onside, but he's found the gap between deep mid-wicket and long on. It's a wonderful shot, really. I mean, Luke Wood didn't do that much wrong there. It's gone away for 4, and it's 15 to win from 10 balls. 185 for no wicket.
Yeah, one more of those, and Pakistan really are home and hosed. That Luke Wood just missing his Yorker if you're ultra critical by 6 inches or so. But Babar Azam deep in his crease, able to find the middle of the bat and hit it all along the floor from the second it left all the way to the time across the rope.
10 balls left, 15 to win. Wood bowls, full outside the off stump, driven, should only be a single towards long off. Hales comes in, sends in the return. 14 to win from 9 balls with 10 wickets in hand. And Babar Azam and Rizwan have done most of the task. Just need to finish it off now. Babar goes to 105. Mohammad Rizwan on 79. Waits for Wood outside the off stump, hit high down the ground, out towards the straight long on boundary, and that's gone away for 4. The long on fielder's quite wide, and that was hit straight. The long off fielder couldn't get round, and this is the problem, isn't it? When you've got 2 batters who are in and you are swinging, something's going to go to the boundary.
Yep, certainly is, and pushed across Mohammad Rizwan. Didn't really get all of it. Right down the bottom of the bat. Short boundaries, and the fact that he's in and seeing the ball so well, he manages to muscle it in between the 2 fielders at long on and long off, and it trickles over the rope, and with it probably England's hopes of victory.
190 for no wicket, 10 to win, 8 balls left, 10 wickets in hand, and Rizwan and Babar have manufactured this run chase superbly. Magnificent partnership. And here is Wood to bowl the penultimate ball of the over to Rizwan. Oh, it's not the penultimate ball because it's a wide. Signalled by umpire Hassan Raza. Absolutely right as well. It was right across Rizwan, but definitely outside the wide line. Straightforward call for the umpire. And Pakistan need 9 to win from 8 balls. So what have we had in this over? 11 off 4 balls, 4 legitimate balls. And, it's so hard to hold teams these days in these situations. So used to players getting hold of 2 or 3 in the penultimate or final over. Wood bowls outside the off stump. That might be a wide as well. There's a swipe outside the off stump, right across the batter. There we go, confirmed by Hassan Raza. Wood thinks it's a tough call. My instinct, my immediate reaction was, yeah, that was a wide as well. I don't know what you thought, Stephen.
Yeah, I think that's fair enough. Rizwan's not moved across. Sometimes you can get away with those if the batter does step towards the offside, but Rizwan not needing to do anything out the ordinary now, only needing 9 off 8 balls, or now 8 off 8. He stands still in his crease, and this one's just the other side of the wide line, but the back of the length nature of it meant it looked even wider.
Well, he could finish it off in this over. Wood bowls to Rizwan. Rizwan drives. Oh, it's pushed over the bar by Moeen Ali at extra cover. Difficult one. It was a chance, I think, or half a chance as the throw comes in. And Rizwan comes back for a second run. 6 to win from 7 balls. 194 for no wicket. Seeing a replay. It was miscued drive, and Moeen went for it with his right hand to his left, a bit like you see goalkeepers trying to save the ball. So Moen saved it, he got it over the bar, but he was trying to catch it.
Yeah, would have been a very good save actually, got a solid hand to it. Just an awkward angle, awkward height. This one, complete miscue. Just so is his luck today, it goes for 2 as well at the same time.
That's a wide from Wood, down the leg side. And Rizwan was inside it there, trying to flick at it, missed it. And I'm not surprised as well, because it was quite a way away from Rizwan. And it's been quite untidy over from Luke Wood. He's trying to make something happen. He's trying to mix it up a bit. It's not quite worked for him. And actually, we've got 1 ball left in the over, and it's gone for 15. And tonight it's gone for 47. And Pakistan have the chance here to finish this without going to the last over. 5 to win. Here is Wood moving into bowl to Rizwan, and slapped away out towards deep mid-wicket. Picked up inside the rope by Willie, away to his left-hand side, releases the ball. They come back for a second, and we do go to the final over. I think we sensed early on we might have a final over finish, but actually it's not been quite as tight as we might have anticipated. Pakistan need 3 to win from the final over and to inflict a 10-wicket defeat on England.
Yeah, wouldn't it be extraordinary? Usually I think that 10-wicket defeats would come off scores of around 90, 100, 110 if someone plays really well, but this would be extraordinary. Pakistan 197 for none off 19 overs, chasing 199, and just at all the crucial times of this innings they found a boundary when they needed it. At the beginning of that over they needed 20 from 12, a couple of dot balls, boundary, changes the game again. And all the way through this innings, these 2 classy players have managed just that.
And as well, the other thing as well, just being sent a message by Henry Moran that it might as well be the highest 10-wicket chase in the history of T20 cricket. We've just been checking the records. Highest in internationals, 169. New Zealand versus Pakistan in Hamilton 2016. Last over, here's Willie. Moving into bowl, it's very full, it's dabbed away towards backward point, shy at the stumps, it misses. That might have been close if it had hit, but they got through for the single. It's 2 to win from 5 balls. And according to Henry, in all T20s, Calcutta Knight Riders 184 versus Gujarat Lions in 2017 is the highest T20 chase by 10 wickets.
I imagine there's a number of statisticians out there really hoping that Pakistan don't lose a wicket in these next couple of balls. Zoltz especially would be,
he'd be loving this, wouldn't
shed a tear if they were to lose a wicket now.
Well, they nearly did there with that run out. So there's 5 balls left, 2 to win. Pakistan on the verge of a 10-wicket victory, chasing 200, and we think unprecedented in the history of T20. Well, there's slight asterisks there. We just need to, do the final bit of checking.
Oh, we can speculate. That's fine.
And all thanks to Babar Azam and Mohammad Rizwan. Here is Willie. Moving into bowl to Rizwan. It's full, it's dug out into the onside towards mid-on, picked up by Brooke, and the scores are level with 4 balls left in the match. 1 run to win. And Pakistan on the verge of something noteworthy. Something remarkable. It's been sensational, actually. Sensational batting between these 2. 2 wonderful, free-flowing, exciting, modern strikers of the ball. Very different in their styles, but both mighty effective. Here is Willie with 1 to win. Bowls to Babar, who drives through the extra cover region. It's going out to the boundary for 4, and Pakistan have won by 10 wickets. A magnificent victory, chasing 200. England's first ever defeat by 10 wickets in a T20 international. Stunning chase from Pakistan. Pulled off by 2 wonderful, exciting batters at the top of the order. Babar Azam appropriately finishing it off, and Mohammad Rizwan equally exciting and equally devastating. England have been thumped, but they've lost in the last over. One of those bizarre games of cricket, really.
Yeah, just wow, really. Wow, you always felt as though there may be some caveats to this in the second half of the game, but Babar Azam and Mohammad Rizwan really showing why they're numbers 1 and 2 in the world in this format. The way they managed that chase, the way when they needed it, they hit boundaries. The way when they needed it, they hit power to hit the ball over the rope as well. Sakhain Mushtaq, Pakistan coach, will be very, very happy. And those two batters now walk off having done something that we think has never been done in T20 cricket before.
Yeah, that's what we think. We think no team has ever chased a total as high as this in T20s without losing a single wicket, and no wickets lost, no catches taken in the match as well. I wonder whether that's ever happened. Now that would take a bit more digging out, wouldn't it, in the history of T20 matches, both domestic and international. There will be no catches taken in a match. You know, sometimes you see teams win by 9 wickets chasing 60, but normally in the 60 that the team set them, there's normally 3 or 4 catches. It's very rare to have all those wickets gone down to bowls or LBWs. Anyway, the two teams shaking hands. The spectators who've turned up tonight have seen a bit of history, and they've seen a couple of their heroes produce some stunning batting on a warm, breezy evening in Karachi. And the series is level at 1 game all. After 2 with 5 more to play. Both matches won so far by the teams on the chase. And you have to say, actually, also with a degree of comfort, even though both matches went to the final over. It was hard to think. There was a stage when, just before that 21 was hit off and over from Moeen Ali, you thought that, yeah, England's still in this game, but not many moments where you thought Pakistan are sort of really behind here, and they've got a lot to do to catch up. Perhaps just around that point, around the halfway point, and then Moeen came on, 20 went off the over, and then after that it was a bit of a canter.
Yeah, it's certainly a very strange one and hard to dissect, really, because when England got that total, I thought they'd got way too many runs on that pitch. The way we saw a couple of the balls behave when the spinners bowled the ball into the surface and it really gripped. You thought that 199 was an outstanding effort and was far too many, but it just sort of seemed to disappear and become a little bit easier to bat in the second half of the game. Did the spinners get their lengths wrong? Arguably yes, from both teams. But certainly the way that the ball striking, or the way that they were able to strike the ball, suggested that the wicket got a bit better as the day went on. And chasing a score like that down with 10 wickets to spare does suggest that it was a very good wicket.
Yeah, it does, yeah. So will England look at their innings and say 199 for 5? Could they've got more? I mean, Ben Duckett thought 170 was a good, would have been a good score at the halfway stage. I know you sort of talk up your score a bit, don't you? But I think there was a bit of genuine feeling there. And Babar was saying, we can keep them to 150, 160 would have done quite well at the toss.
Yeah, and certainly watching that first half of the game, I felt as though 160 was a good score, and one that would be tricky to chase down. But yeah, I think both bowling attacks will go away and look at the fact that what they could have done better. Could they have bowled better lengths? Could they have gone into the surface a little bit more? And also, we can't forget the fact that Alex Hales put Mohammad Rizwan down relatively early in the chase, which could have changed things again.
Yeah, well, wonderful for Pakistan. They won with 3 balls to spare by 10 wickets. Babar Azam 110 not out, Mohammad Rizwan 88 not out, Willie 3.3 overs, went for 44. Liam Dawson very tidy, 4 overs to 26. Curran likewise 4 overs to 29. Wood not such a good day out today in his second match, 4 overs for 49. Adil Rashid probably disappointed with how he bowled tonight. Pakistan got after him, 3 overs to 34. And Moeen Ali, that crucial over and away, 1 over for 21 runs that really got Pakistan going again. So it's 1-1 with 5 more to play. Thanks.